hear that? Do you hear it? Do you hear it? The tick, tick, tick of time? What time is it, you might ask? It's time to turn your great idea into a reality with Squarespace. That's right, Squarespace. Making it easier than ever to launch your passion project. That's what Squarespace does, no matter what you are doing. You're trying to showcase your work, sell a product, whatever you're looking to get done, Squarespace helps you put it on the web with beautiful templates. And 24/7 award-winning customer support is there to help in case you need it. But hey, you probably won't. Hey, head on over to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
What's going on, my friends? How are you? Good. That's great to hear. This is the Giant Bombcast. My name is Jeff Bakalar. I'm joined by 5 of my closest friends. Jeff Gerstmann, how are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good. That's it. I'm good. I'm doing great.
Sometimes good.
By the moment, I'm just like, it's like creeping up. As you give me more silence, I'm like, I'm good. No, I'm great. I'm good. Yeah, I'm fucking fantastic.
If we kept quiet, this would be the best day of your life.
God damn it, man.
I love it. Jason A. Striker, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Actually, I'm not doing that great. Actually,
okay.
It's kind
Jason
of a
actually
shitty
brought
day.
it down a couple levels.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, wow. The longer he goes, the worse he sounds. Danny O'Dwyer, level us out.
I don't know if Ben is in the same situation as me as an external observer to Giant Bomb these days, but I had no idea you were hosting this week. So I was like, why the fuck is Bakalar talking? What's going on?
Joke's on you, motherfucker. Ben Pack.
Hi, my close personal friend, Jeff Bakalar. How's it going?
It's going. Look, thanks for asking. No one asked me.
Hey, can I borrow
I'm doing
$40?
Sure. Do you take Ethereum? What do you need?
Oh, yeah, sure,
for?
yeah. Hell yeah.
Why?
Nice.
Let's talk about this. What do you need $40 for?
Lunch.
That's an expensive lunch. Sorry.
It's the Bay Area. That's how it works.
Yeah, I'm in the Bay, and I need 2 drinks. Like, it's a business lunch.
What, are you going to Lee's Deli?
You got to load up for the week.
Oh, I kind of miss Lee's.
Oh my god!
Shit.
Yeah, I'm never gonna go. I'm probably never gonna go to a Lee's Deli again. Wow.
What happened
It's for
in
the best.
between this week and
It's
last
for the
week?
best.
What is something change, or is this all other shit that I don't understand because I'm not part of the canon?
It's just a revelation. Lee's Deli is an all-you-can-eat deli. There's a few of them in downtown San Francisco.
There's 2 things. It's a deli that serves sandwiches, and then they have an all-you-can-eat buffet of like kind of Chinese food, but then also some macaroni and cheese
And breakfast stuff that you could buy bacon by the
everything.
brick.
Yeah, you
And
go,
homeless people
right.
coming in, grabbing chicken by the handful and putting it into plastic bags. It's amazing.
it's
Yes.
like whenever
Where else can
people
you get
say,
that?
I'm going to Lee's for lunch, it's like you still don't know what genre of food they're having for lunch. You could be having 12 different types of lunch.
I get it.
And Lee's
These are
is a
all
nightmare.
very-
When I would go to Lee's for lunch, like I would if I wasn't getting just a sandwich and I was getting the pay by the pound or whatever, like it'd be like $25 because you're just like, well, I should probably stuff some more garbage in here so I can stuff this garbage in me. And it was always this weirdest, saddest. So I started beating the system by going to the liquor store across the street and instead paying $12 for a pre-made fucking terrible shitty sandwich because I was like, this is what I deserve.
Yeah, they were bad. Those like tuna ones.
Yeah,
wrapped up.
They're all disgusting.
Oh, man.
They're all just disgusting.
This is
Not going to miss the
Sounds
food
like-
around that fucking place.
No.
It sounds like a bunch of
I miss the
very
proper foods.
adorable San Francisco problems. Speaking of adorable San Francisco problems,
That's me. Okay. I need to know whether or not Lee's Deli is the same Lee as Lee's Sandwiches, because I almost got into a fight at Lee's Sandwiches because me and the deli gang rep the set too hard. We rolled up to Lee's sandwiches, and then some dude inside was like, "Yo, are y'all the dinosaurs crew?" And then
What?
this is a different life where I almost got Deli Gang tatted on my forearm. It's what it is. But
You still could.
Almost. Does that mean you were at the parlor? I don't understand. What is
Jan, you've lived like 15 lives.
Yeah.
seriously, dude?
And those would be
Deli
really
life.
those would be good knuckle tats too. I mean, it's the proper number of letters.
Deli.
Like,
Deli gang.
Yeah.
I want to get SANDWICH. That's what I want for knuckle tats.
That's good because your hands are the bread.
Oh man, I gotta go. Bachelor, can I get another $40?
That is the cheapest tattoo that you will ever get, my friend. Holy shit! All right, well,
I
this
just
I
gotta buy a
guess.
knife and some ink.
Oh no!
oh, just give me a
Two
lighter and a
words,
toothpick.
stick,
We got
poke.
it. Yeah.
if you just, you know,
Ballpoint.
I'm just
pen
going to go
and
to
a
prison
little
for a
motor.
while, and we'll see what comes out the other end. All right, and I'll get something.
I mean, you're better off going to prison for that kind of tattoo.
Yeah,
Ben, I would
God,
let
the
you.
food's better.
I would let you give me a stick poke tattoo.
Oh yeah, I would. Yeah, let's practice our lettering on each other.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you do that on like the thigh or something. That's the doodle area. You don't
No.
doodle
That's the
on the
doodle.
knuckles.
Like right on the wrist.
Lower back.
Tender meat.
No. I used to know people who would do that. It was like right between your hip, like your waist and your knee. That's doodle area. You do whatever you want there. That you could give yourself a tattoo of a literal shit sandwich and no one would ever see it. So that's where I would do it. If
I
I
keep
were
my
you.
I don't
Eyes.
think I can fit eFootball 2022 on my leg.
Not with that attitude.
Ugh, the shittiest sandwich.
Speaking of shitty sandwiches, anyone play some video games this week? What do you say? There you go.
There's a meme.
There it is.
You got infected by Jan segues.
I know. It's contagious. It's this bi-coastal pun issue we're having. Hey, so I played a bunch of Far Cry 6, and when I say a bunch, I mean like 4 hours of it.
That's a bunch, depending on the
That's
game.
a handful. Yeah, that's a bunch.
It's enough for me to be like, I'm good. Jeff Gerstmann, what about you? I know you played it.
I really like it.
Oh, hey,
It's
whoa.
another Far Cry game.
What happened to you, man? It's like the second kid is just. I don't like this happy Jeff.
This is all fever dream, Gerstmann. That's it.
So we can only talk about a specific portion of the Cooling Springs part of Far Cry 6.
Is Guapo in that?
Yeah, Guapo is. Oh, Guapo is
Guapo's
definitely
the
in
only
it.
reason I'm
He's-
forging
yeah.
through this. All right.
It's so there's a line where we have to stop talking about it, and I think this line of dialogue is right around that area, so I'm going to say it anyway. There's an area, a part where Juan, the like fucking grizzled gorilla, is like talking to you. You've decided to stick around and sign on with the freedom fighters. You're like, all right, I'm not going to run away to Miami. I'm going to stay here and do this. And so he pulls you aside to be like, I know why you're really staying. Because it's just fun to fuck shit up, huh?
Hell yeah.
And then like your character just goes like, yeah.
I mean, I like that.
And it's this
too.
weird nightmarish moment where like it all comes together and you're like, this is them like trying to excuse the no politics and all the other stuff all at once by just going like, yeah. There's another part earlier in the game, like one of the first things you do in that game, and this is like weird to me. One of the first things you do in that game is they give you a flamethrower and you go to an area and burn a bunch of crops. Skrillex does not play. So they fucked that up.
Oh, weird.
But like your
Wasn't weed. Yeah.
yeah, and it wasn't. It was like it's tobacco. It's not like weed crops or whatever it was in Far Cry 3.
Bob Dylan plays because it's tobacco.
Yeah. No, and like at some point in that process, either before or after you finished up, your character just goes like, "This feels really familiar."
Oh, jeez.
Oh, weird.
You're like, "Fucking what?" So it's yeah. I don't know.
We get
Like,
spiritual. I like it.
yeah,
mean-
it's like so wait a minute, but I have tried to fall into the like Far Cry is a big meta thing before and been burned because I don't think that they're operating on that level. They're just not. They're just
mean
making
like they
these
haven't
super
earned it?
mindless. Yeah, no, they've not earned it. They have and they're not trying to operate on that level. They're just making these incredibly mindless open world shooters. And it turns out right now, especially after 5, I think the story, the way they handled the story stuff in 5 was just like so embarrassing. This seems like just better enough in a way that like I'm on board for just like, yeah, no, it turns out like I want to mindlessly shoot my way through these checkpoints and outposts and all this other stuff. Like the only way I really enjoyed 5 was when I was playing it co-op, because then you were talking to someone else. It was like me and Austin Walker just parachuting around and ignoring all of the story stuff. And it was like, oh, this is actually an okay time. It might have been Far Cry 4, now that I think about it. Anyway, but the last couple of Far Cry games, like the best way to enjoy them is to never think about the story at all. So I think that they could tell a more engaging and more interesting story. And maybe they do. You know, obviously we're only talking about the first chunk of the game. But there's like a couple of throwaway lines in there too, where like as your character is like hemming and hawing about escaping to Miami, like the other characters that are guerrillas are just like, the American dream is not for people with our skin color. Just straight up, like you are too brown to make it in America is kind of the message, which is like really throwaway, but at the same time, like for Far Cry and how fucking utterly mindless it usually is, it's something. Like they're at least like tipping, like acknowledging, like, hey, yeah, here's a thing.
They're bound to hit sometime, right?
Right. Yeah.
Broken clock and all that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Where's this supposed to take place? Is it a fictional?
Fake Cuba.
Fake Cuba.
It's Yara is the name of the place. It's fake Cuba. So you see like, you know, 50s American cars and stuff like that. It's like that much of a fake Cuba.
How much Giancarlo Esposito are you getting? Or at least can you talk about how's
the
his
stuff?
performance?
The early stuff in the game is all the stuff they've shown already. It's the boat sequence where he shows up and, you know, like hands his kid the gun. You know, like there's a couple of sequences that they've shown in preview footage that is all front loaded in that game. So
okay, I'm interested in that. He has such a presence in TV, and I'm wondering how it'll translate to a video game.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's like utterly mindless. It still does, like in some ways they've streamlined it even further in ways that like I'm not sure are a positive for the game as a whole, but it's like fewer things to think about in some ways and more things to think about in others. Like there doesn't seem to be a skill tree, so you just kind of have some of the stuff. Like some of the later stuff you would get in Far Cry would be like, oh, when you stab somebody, just immediately grab them and loot them. Yeah. So they've taken that, like you can just do that out of the gate. You can stealth kill somebody and then immediately like grab them. It will loot them. Like there's no like looting animation. You just like walk over stuff to pick it up. There's, you know, you're not skinning animals. The progression, so there's 15 levels and stuff. Yeah. And so that unlocks weapons. And so what they've done is they've gone and made a Call of Duty ass weapon system of like your guns have slots on them and you are choosing if you want armor piercing rounds or if you want soft target rounds that are be more effective against unarmored targets, if you want poison bullets or blast bullets. And so there's a lot of pros and cons around all of the different slots in the game. And some of those are even just like straight up Call of Duty perks, like
for my mindless shooter.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's like, hey, if you can reload faster if you do this, or do, you know, hey, you're going to get more pesos if you get headshots with this perk equipped. Like it's stuff like that is where the kind of where you kind of customize your arsenal a bit better.
It's kind of where that conflicts with the whole idea of like mindlessness, though, right? Like I found the idea of like only being allowed to change my loadout at these, you know, they're generously peppered out, these little sort of like workbenches where you can swap, you know, mods on your guns and attachments on your guns and whatnot. That, I mean, that just felt like a thing I did not want to spend a lot of time concentrating on. It breaks up the action in a weird way.
Yeah. They let you equip 3 guns and a pistol. And so like so far, like I've had more than enough to handle any situation, at least in the early game. And you can swap out. So I think, you know, you can customize every weapon you pick up. Like there's almost like what is it? It's almost like Breakpoint, that Clancy game, where there's just like chests around the world that have guns in them, and you just are finding, you're just filling out slots. So you just like open up, like, show me all the assault rifles in the game, and there's just like, here's an empty page full of locked weapons that you're eventually going to fill in with different guns, and they all have star ratings and all this other stuff. And so I think you could swap those out whenever you want, like put any of those guns into your weapon wheel whenever you like. So you can have those 3 weapons, and so far I've got like generic assault rifle with soft target rounds. I've got snipery, but not full-on sniper rifle, single shot rifle with armor-piercing rounds that I used to shoot people in the head with. And then just a third gun is like whatever I picked up recently that I want to see if it's any good or not. And it's, I don't know. It's, there is, that system can be complicated and can be kind of a hassle, especially because to buy the upgrades, you have to loot a ton of different things. It's like there's a bunch of shit everywhere, like scrap metal and gunpowder and gasoline. Like there's just like a billion different, there's a lot of accessibility options in the game that I thought was kind of cool, because you can turn on like, hey, highlight all the enemies, put a highlight around them, but also highlight all the interactable objects.
Oh,
and
cool.
There's so much stuff you have to pick up that turning that on actually was really useful, because it's just like, all right, now I know where all the scraps are and the broken glass and like all the other crap I need to get to craft these silencers and upgrades and all this other stuff. So yeah, I don't know. They definitely made another Far Cry game. That much I think is true. But I think I'm liking it a lot more than 5, because 5 just tried to be so heavy-handed without saying anything. Like the story, the story stuff I think stood out a lot more in that game as like super embarrassing, whereas this just seems like more of a throwback to 4 in a way.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I'm pretty into is Mr. Guapo. He is your friendly alligator who rocks.
He's a pretty good alligator.
A very cool
He's got a leather jacket.
And a cool fucking gold tooth.
Is it a deerskin leather jacket?
No, come on. That's blasphemous,
That's
Jan.
fucking
How could
weird,
you,
Jan.
How could you even imply that? It's snake skin. No, and he's the fastest alligator alive. That thing moves like 30 miles an hour sometimes. It's amazing. And
on a dime, oh man!
And
can you ride it like Golden Axe?
I tried. I cannot. But he can.
Your friendship level isn't high enough.
Right. He can parachute and drive cars.
Gotta romance him.
Parachute.
Really
oh my gosh! Can the chicken parachute?
He should, man. We played the first 2 hours yesterday, and we tried everything we could, but Guapo is just a land animal. That's his favorite way to traverse. But yeah, I mean that stuff's super fun. It makes for a lot of ridiculous visuals for sure.
There's a lot of dumb physicsy. Well, so like Guapo runs super fast and it's hilarious, and then if you sick him on another alligator and watch them fight, like the AI usually breaks and they don't ever fight the way you want them to, and it just usually, or like I said, hey, go attack this guard dog, and it got like one strike in and the guard dog just turned and started running away, and then got far enough away, and I'd already killed his like soldier that the guard dog was attached to, that he just stood there, just like stopped.
He just gave
completely.
up. Gave up on life.
And I was like, okay,
master.
dog, I'll shoot you in the head. And
Mercy.
But like the roads are full of chaos. Like there's a lot of horses in this game, so you can ride the horses and do all this other stuff. But there's also a fair amount of cars, and so the number of horses I've seen get hit and killed by cars and run over by cars is like, for the very few number of hours I've put into it, is like alarmingly high. It's just like guard is on the road trying to like harass a citizen, and a car just fucking mows him down and keeps going and stuff. There's just a lot of really astoundingly dumb shit happening on the roads in that game that makes it kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a total clip factory for sure. And also, I think, the way that the way that guy just sort of teleports, like you'll climb up a mountain and you'll just sort of be like, oh shit, I left Guapo down. Oh, he's right. And you turn around and he's like, oh, he's here. He's right here.
Guapo.
Yeah. I was waiting for
I would also say horses control better than cars in this game. Like
vehicles in this franchise, I feel like have been absolutely terrible, like across the board forever. And yeah, man, the horses at least can turn.
Yeah, they can turn and kind of drift almost if you really get fancy with them. But yeah, I mean,
This might
other
be
than
a
that,
stupid question, but it does it follow the same formula of like the Ubi open world, go ping a beacon, it'll show some area, some questions marks will pop up.
So Far Cry's been slightly different in that, and I've mean like very slightly, where instead you'll find, you might find like a piece of paper on a desk, and then you pick it up and it says like, oh, here's like 9 fishing locations on this island, or here's, 5 caches, or, or there'll be like a guy standing there and you walk up and be like, what do you know? And it'll be like, here's some locations for you.
There's
and
some
it'll
buried
put those on the
treasure.
map. Yeah, exactly. So it's still, I mean, it's still like that template of open world game. Like Far Cry's never been fully the like Assassin's style version of that template. Like it's always been a variant of that. But yeah, it sure does do that. And it still does the thing of like, I think the mini map sucks in that there's nothing on it most of the time. Like it doesn't show, it'll show roads. Yeah, but it doesn't show like terrain, and so like you'll be like, I'm gonna go west, and be like, oh, there's a mountain here I can't climb. But the mini map didn't tell me that.
I was going to be like, what do you want? Like before, it was too many icons. Now it's not enough. Or no?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but the mini map is just like it's just a gray block. There's not a lot in it a lot of the time.
Yeah, I get.
But what it does do that the past few of these games have done is it shows like a haze, like a fog, as if to say there's an enemy somewhere in here that you haven't marked. And so you can go to a camp and look out and see that haze on the mini map and just mark all the targets with your cell phone or looking down sight or whatever to kind of track the targets. And it leads to the situation where you do that, and then I've tagged everyone in this base. I know there's no hidden surprises waiting for me here because there's no fog anymore. And it's this weird tell that the game has had for the past couple that like is incredibly mechanical in a way that like I think serves it okay as a video game, but just conceptually seems really stupid. And it's weird to me that they're still doing it. It's like it is such a system when you see it.
It's a game-ass game, yeah.
Yeah, that I'm kind of surprised they didn't like find a different way to kind of message some of that stuff. But and the shooting's fine. You still creep up on outposts and decide like, okay, I'm going to shoot this camera. I'm going to run up and take this alarm down, and then I'm going to shoot all these guys in the head and get through without setting off any alarms and all. Like it's still like that stuff is still fun. I think that stuff has always been pretty fun, even when the game around it has been stupid. So it's got plenty of that. And after 5, I think I'm just looking for something that's just a little, I don't know, it's a more interesting environment. Like the characters seem just a smidge more interesting. And I thought 5 was just like so disappointing and just tripping over itself at every turn that like this just seems like, hey, at least it ain't as bad as that.
There's a couple of other things that sort of stood out during the playthrough, the first 2 hours. I don't know if you felt this way, but Lucy had pointed it out to me, and she was like, there's something a little off about the kind of ducking. Like, it just feels a little squishy and kind of slow. And I didn't notice it until I was actually in combat, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, there's it felt a little mushy. Just
Bad
in terms
knees,
of like,
probably.
yeah, but I mean, look, there's a whole lot of sliding, so maybe that that takes its toll.
I think the problem with the sliding is that if you slide and then keep moving, it doesn't actually leave you in a crouch. I think if you slide and let off the stick and stop, it'll leave you crouched. But I want to say if you keep moving, it'll pop you back up, which is like usually the opposite of what I want to do. Like usually I'm like sliding into cover and I want to stay down. But if I hold the stick forward at all, she'll pop right back up, and you're like, oh shit, I'm being seen now. I gotta crouch. So that stuff seemed a little clunky, but like the crouch itself, I don't know. Seems okay.
And there's this one thing that totally drives me crazy, and you see it occasionally where like, you talked about the focus on looting a lot of stuff that are required for some of the upgrades in those workbenches. For whatever reason, I can't this game is not where I needed to be in terms of the generosity of like letting me see scraps and pick it up. There needs to be some sort of strange precision of you having that in your reticle and picking it up. I know it sounds like a really throwaway sort of thing, but it is a real bummer. It's everywhere.
It's finicky. Like picking shit up is finicky. I found myself like I've gotten in the groove of just like I'm going to stand directly on top of this thing and look straight down at it, and that's reliable. But like the range and the like whatever you need to be aiming at to get things to pick up seems bad. You're right.
Watching the quick look, you had to be like in a certain proximity or a certain angle when you're talking to someone or trying to interact. It seemed really strange.
Angle. Definitely. And the final thing I wanted to point out was the Hamilton watch product placement in this game, which I thought was just like, oh, okay.
Is that on your character?
Yeah. You can choose to wear it. You can, there's gear, right? You can choose your clothing that have buffs and whatnot attached to them. And one of them's, a watch. And I think they're actually making a real one.
Yeah, they have a Far Cry watch. I just looked on their website.
Weird. I don't even think I realized that was a real brand because it's like that slot can be gloves. That slot can be a watch. Like there's just, there's a bunch of different things that go into the slot.
They got some other.
Oh my God. The watch is not cheap.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think
Hamilton
so.
A real watch brand is like a good watch brand.
It's a good watch brand. Yeah, it's a good watch brand. $1,200 for the Far Cry 6 Titanium Limited Edition. There it is.
Love to see that Venn diagram of like Far Cry 6 player and rich ass
like how
watch
many
enthusiasts.
But like, how many watch enthusiasts will get this and or like give a shit about Far Cry, and how many of them will just be like, "Oh, it's limited edition Hamilton. I got to get it, bro."
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a nice watch, but it also the Far Cry 6 attachment to it is like completely non-existent.
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
Yeah, it doesn't even look. It just looks like I don't even think it looks like a great watch, but whatever. People are gonna have.
It's titanium, bro.
For $30.
Yeah.
I got a Street Fighter watch with Blanca on it.
There you go.
That's cool.
That's sweet.
Is it Blanca and then you have to flip him up?
Yeah.
To see that. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll buy that. I paid $1,200 for that. No problem.
Yeah, I'll let it go for $1,200.
I love all these product photos though of like the in-game watch.
Yeah.
Also, the idea that like you're this like orphan that grew up in the military, and you're like the local, the people around you can really rally around, and here's this $1,200 watch.
A freedom fighter with a $1,200 watch.
Stole it off a fascist though. Like
that never relates to war.
So that makes it okay.
I think you just get it when you hit level 2. Like I don't know that it's
Damn.
You get. Of course, you get it early. That's the ad.
The product placement is you unlock it early. Yeah,
you're not gonna hide that.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fucked up. The idea that like this whole thing of just like we've got to get this fucking dictator motherfucker that's like milking all the money out of this guy. Anyway, check out my sick ass fucking watch.
Yeah,
that's a weird.
Yeah, don't look for too much in the story here. So.
It comes with a nice box though.
Yeah, it does.
Is there a copy of the game in the box?
No.
That's wild that you don't even get the game with this.
There's $100 version of this game you can buy, and it's not. There's no physical. I don't think, or it's not. There's no like thing. It's just like
there's a bunch of add-on stuff. Yeah. It's a bunch of gear. At least what I've seen so far is like some of it's based on Blood Dragon. So that's like here's a cybernetic eye that you can equip. Like it's just goofy. Like that. It's clear that the people making this don't actually give that much of a fuck about trying to make it seem gritty or real or represent like the actual what this struggle might actually be. It's like, I don't know, here's cybernetic boots and here's a cybernetic eye, and
that's probably better than when they were trying. and it really wasn't working.
Did they ever? I mean, I guess like that was the thing. Like the big problem with Far Cry 5 is when they first showed it off, they represented it like it was this gritty, real thing, and that the people making the game actually put themselves in danger doing research, and how it was like we were being followed. Like there was this whole thing that they told the press, and then at some point that whole message pivoted to just like, you know, go around and shoot motherfuckers. It's going to be badass, bro. And then like the game definitely fell on that side way more than we went and we met with militia people to find out what it's really like out there.
But and also like it was supposed to be, we like white supremacists and preppers and stuff. But the game was actually about like cults and religious zealots.
Vague religious cults and yeah. Well, you know, like, yeah.
There's overlap, sure, but it wasn't like you were, you know, going after, you know, it wasn't. They were, exactly. They weren't doing that.
No, and they're just you get the impression that like there were people on the team early on that very much were trying to make that game, and then at some point got tapped on the shoulder and went like, "Hey, a lot of those white supremacists buy these games," or something fucked up like that. And
Republicans buy shoes too.
Expensive watches.
Yeah, the Venn diagram of who's buying the $1,200 watch or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's, I think I am in I'm in the right headspace for just like some mindless, like I'm going to load this up and I'm going to run to this spot on the map and smoke everybody that's there. And then they're going to give me a new gun to fuck around with. Like you have a super weapon. Like they basically like at some point, I feel like everyone making games just went like, man, people like this Overwatch, huh? These ults. We need an ult. And so you have a super attack that is on a cooldown. And the first one you get is this big fucking rocket drop backpack that just shoots
the
massive homing rockets. It's a big mortar drop onto things. And you're like,
seems very dangerous.
You know, pulls out into third person. She crouches on one knee. And it goes, fucks everybody up.
We must destroy the infidels. We must destroy the oppressor. But my ult is only at 80%. We must charge.
Exactly. Yeah. And like they've got lip service in there, but like this amazing backpack, it feeds off you killing the enemy as if that makes it charge faster. It's just like, you know,
Can you tell the charge on your Hamilton watch?
Sadly, no. It's in the bottom right corner of the screen. But and they've got different backpacks that you can buy and equip, I think, later on. But yeah, it's just a big done game to blow shit up with, and you throw the bodies in the water, and they bounce real good, and there's dumb physics, and it's like, that's been Far Cry all along in a lot of different ways, and I think that the environment, I think at least the area you're running around, looks really nice. Like I'm playing it on Xbox. I think it's a pretty good looking game.
Yeah. Have you guys noticed any like performance options or on the consoles?
I actually haven't.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it run 60?
Oh, interesting.
No. Don't think it's running 60.
No, I don't think it's running 60.
It's kind of.
But it runs
I haven't seen
consistently.
Yeah.
Any Trigens in this one? They bring the Trigens back?
Not yet. I mean, hey, there's still a lot of game left, so let's hope.
This is kind of like the first. It's like Far Cry 1 and 3, and now this one are kind of. We're back to tropical islands, right? Had a little bit of a break from the tropical island thing.
Yeah. And I think like there's just a lot of nice sun through the trees effects, all that God ray stuff. Like
it's always dusk.
Yeah. It's a nice looking game.
Right on. There you have it. Far Cry 6. Jeff, you also played Amazon Studios' Jeff Bezos' New World.
Yes, I'm a part of Jeff Bezos' New World.
Oh, good for you.
Do you have your own little self-care box that you can go into and scream?
Yeah. I have my Scream box, and I'm going to space in a couple weeks, which is pretty exciting. Me and Shatner.
The Rocket Man.
Yeah, he is the Rocket Man. This we talk about Far Cry being mindless. A New World seems like they made an MMO and never. I don't know. Like I played a handful of hours of this. Like I'm not super deep into it. Rory has played more of it than I have, and he kind of made it sound like the later parts of the game don't really fix this. But like, it feels like it's never been easier to ignore everything you're supposed to be doing in that game, other than like clicking on accept quest and running to the area and clicking on a thing and running back or killing 10 rats or whatever. I don't even remember. Okay. The story is you take a boat into a weird area and a storm, like it's a magical storm, and your captain is dead or possessed or whatever, and you kill him in the tutorial, and you get a box, and I don't know. You're stranded. All the characters are stranded inside this Bermuda Triangle-esque pirate land. And so you run around with, but it's a yes, I guess I should have just said it's a Strand game.
Oh, okay.
It is actiony in a sense of like you are clicking the attack button to attack. You are holding it down to do heavy strikes. You are attempting to block actively if you're using sword and shield. Actually, I guess you can block with anything, but I've mostly been using sword and shield. It's a lot of harvesting, and I got to kill some boars, and there's different factions, and so all the people in the world chat are just like shouting about like, orange guys meet up, purple guys can suck it, or whatever. And like I don't necessarily like, I don't know, I kind of want to play more of it just to kind of understand like if there's a great game there, because it is super stupid popular.
Yeah,
like the Steam
the
numbers
on
like
Twitch is insane.
It's crazy.
Well, so the numbers on Twitch, like, I mean, look,
sure.
Amazon owns Twitch. They're going to pay the big streamers to stream Do World. Like, like, of course. If ever there was going to be some marketing synergy ass shit to happen, it's going to be around the launch of that game.
It's free, right?
Is it
free to play?
Free?
It is not. It is not free. It is not a month. There is no monthly. But they do. Let me tell you exactly how much they want. They want $40 for it.
Okay.
And then there's a $50 deluxe version, but then also the game is full of cosmetic purchases and currency and all that other stuff. You can definitely give them more money if you want a prettier hat. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, wow. I'm looking at the Steam charts right now, and it's sitting right under Counter-Strike Go.
So that's the thing for me
almost
that
a million
sticks
players.
out as like there are a ton of people playing it. And I think I feel like Amazon really caught a break on this one in a way that their other games definitely haven't, where there's probably not a better time to launch an MMO than when everyone feels super bad about World of Warcraft. Whether it's because of just the state of the game in general or because of what's going on at Blizzard, it feels like, or
a Final
like
Fantasy 2 anime for you.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Like,
the only other big player in the MMO space is Final Fantasy.
Is this very Western? Like, does this feel more like a World of Warcraft style thing? Because a lot of screenshots
it doesn't even really feel like a World of Warcraft. Like like I said, like you've got an active role, you've got a stamina bar. Like there's, like people have made like Souls-ish comparisons, and I don't think
Valheim vibes. A little bit,
but it does also have like the equivalent of like your equip load. You will go from light to medium to heavy, so there's almost like a fat roll kind of thing going on.
Interesting,
if I understand correctly. But I've been light load this whole time, so I don't know how different the equip load actually feels. And so it's not. It doesn't feel Western in the sense. It doesn't feel like a traditional like EverQuest template MMO of like, here's my hot bar and I'm going to kick off all these other things. Like you definitely have abilities. You're like, as you use a weapon, you are getting like sword mastery or hatchet mastery if you choose to run with the hatchet. And then there's a skill tree for each one of those weapons. So you can, unlock abilities there and use them there and all that other stuff. And so I'm not really sure what that means for healers and casters and how that part of the game works. Cause it's not like you choose a class out of the gate. But you do equip different weapons. Like I got a fire wand or something that I haven't used yet. But you do have a mana and different weapons scale with different. That's almost more of a Souls type thing too. Of like it'll tell you which weapons benefit from which stats. Of just like, okay, this type of weapon benefits if your intelligence is higher. This type of weapon. So like this is a dex weapon. This is a strength weapon. This is like that sort of stuff. So it's like it feels like they're maybe picking and choosing and pulling a little bit out of those games, but that's not to say that this is one of those games, but an MMO. I don't want people to come away from this thinking that per se. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a bad game. It just seems like a boring game.
Like not
terms
much
of, like,
lore, like bad story stuff. Just
so
like,
far, like the story stuff has been like really uneventful, and it's like here's a page full of text. Like it is, for as much as people started doing more and more of that with World of Warcraft, and I guess they got better at it. But like in the early days of WoW, when it was just like here's a page of text that you're definitely not going to read because you're just going to scroll to the bottom, hit accept, and just go do the thing. Like this game feels like out of the gate definitely that type of game of like, I'm not going to pay attention to anything that's happening here because I've got to get my guild up to this level and play with my friend. You know, like there's maybe that is the draw. But you know, $40 game with no subscription fee, and WoW at a weird low point. Like I see why people would definitely go like, let's give it a shot. Let's see. So I guess it maybe makes sense that the Steam numbers are high, and I don't think the game is necessarily bad, but I can't tell yet.
Seems like Amazon's best game offering to date.
Definitely,
though.
yeah. It is the most.
It's not going to go off of Steam in 2 weeks.
Right. It doesn't seem like they're going to shut it down and be like, shit, back to the drawing board. Like, you know, they actually shipped something that seems like a viable product.
Good for them.
So, yeah.
Amazon finally doing it.
Yeah,
finally got
Amazon
one here.
making it happen. I ordered light bulbs. They came in like a day and a half. And now this MMO, god damn.
In the game? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that is definitely not that far away.
Right.
Like,
I mean, slash pizza, like, fuck that. Give me like
yeah.
slash you know, microphone cable slash we need more diapers desperately.
God damn.
Adult diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't stop playing.
I'm playing. I can't stop playing.
Danny, you've got a buttload of stuff here on the list. You want to go through this nice little variety that you've brought to the table here, bud?
Yeah, sure. There's a couple of things that I've been playing. The first one of which I feel like if I'm not here doing my European sports expert duties, then you know, I wouldn't be doing right by the community. eFootball 2021, finally.
The true football.
2022, I should say. Yes, finally, football is electronic. So this is you probably heard about it this week, the disastrous launch and all that stuff. So this is Pro Evolution by a different name, basically. Pro Evolution Soccer, the sort of also ran of the soccer video game world at this point. FIFA has been fairly dominant. Pro Ev, if you're someone my age, was the sort of great one during the PlayStation 2 era for sure. And there was a time there where I was buying both of them and enjoying them both for different reasons. FIFA was a bit more approachable. PES was you scored a goal in PES, you felt like you'd actually like done
Earned
something.
it, yeah.
You'd earned it totally. So there was a nice sort of mix there. I think also one of the things that comes into this is that there are certain regions of the world, because of the licenses stuff, that were much more into Pro Evolution Soccer, like continental Europe. It had a decent amount there, and the same in Japan as well. eFootball is kind of the end result of this slow sort of them trying to make their own market for themselves as FIFA has been more and more dominant. The esports world is something that they've tried to sort of hone in on, the competitive nature. Pro Evolution was always a better game if you're playing with a friend than FIFA is. FIFA's better if you're playing the AI as well. I think that's broad strokes. But eFootball is like an extreme sort of dip in that direction. The game is free. So you can just go, any of you right now could go and enjoy the beautiful game.
I'll be right back, guys.
Danny, I'm out.
Is enjoy the right
Probably
word?
not.
Yeah, maybe not. It's kind of broken and bad in like a lot of weird ways. There's hardly any game modes in it. There's basically a sort of there's a quick play thing with like a selection of, I think it's 9 clubs, which, you know, if you're used to a soccer game having, you know, hundreds basically.
Like Pro Evo
weird.
especially was like the one that was like, hey, we've got a zillion different teams from a zillion different weird soccer
parts of the world
organizations
that
I've never heard of. Like,
generally under sort of, you know, served areas of football fandom. So there's that's very limited in terms of like who you can play with. The presentation's not great. They've always had weird menus and weird things like that, but it's like hitchy and just messy. the on-pitch action, I don't know what's wrong with it. There's something just not wrong. Either there's a flow problem, like the players stop whenever you get the ball, or if you stop running, they stop in place. There's no like free flow movement. The passing feels super cumbersome. It's lost something. I didn't play last year's Pro Ev, so I don't know when this happened, but and then like the presentation, there's lots of screenshots. I don't think it's as bad as some of the screenshots are showing, but like the lighting's a bit weird and the player models are a bit funky, but like also it's a free sports game, so I don't know. It's just a weird release. Like the front menu has 5 different game options and only one of them is available. You know, like you can't even, and they're going to add them, I guess. And you can pay for a $40 version that gives you basically like in-game currency to unlock like players and stuff like that. But it's just a strange release. Like it's a very telling of the, I guess, how PES has been doing, Pro Evo has been doing for the past, 5-10 years, that it's ended up here.
I thought they stopped making them.
Super strange product.
I thought that I remember going to some Konami events and
that was a Konami thing, right?
This is the last Pro Evo because like the licensing, like FIFA, like basically like they had been cut out of so many of the dominant licenses by EA that they were kind of like, our licenses are expiring, and this is probably going to be the last Pro Evo. And then I have not kept track of it since then. That was a long time ago now. But I was surprised to hear you say that they even made a game last year, because I thought this thing was dead for a while.
I actually don't know if they did. I didn't play last year's game.
There is a 2021 game that popped up.
There is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and this is Konami still making this. This is the one game they sort of kept making during all of the, the post-Kojima stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's people. I don't know. I was about to say people shouldn't buy it. You can't really buy it. So I don't know. Maybe play it out of some morbid curiosity, and I don't know what they're going to do though. It's got something like 92% down, like negative on Steam. It's the least. I think it's the worst rated game on Steam.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing on the YouTube trailer. I'll pull it up for y'all. But not only does it have like 11,000 dislikes, but the game tagged in it is FIFA 21 and not their own actual game.
How the fuck did that happen? That's weird.
Odd.
If you load the game now, there's an apology letter. On the
Stop it.
Before you even start playing. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been
disclaimer. We're sorry.
Just so you know. It's bad. Sorry.
Yeah. FIFA's also out this week. I haven't played that. It's not free.
Man,
told it's powered by football.
FIFA is also out this week, so they chose to launch against. Oh man. Okay. All right. That's cool.
Hey, you gotta respect that. Really just
move.
Going up. David versus Goliath. Here it is. Cinderella
let's
story.
launch against the only other soccer game people have ever cared about.
Yeah, like we'll just sneak right under the radar. That's it.
Captain Tsubasa came out last year. We're clear, y'all.
That must mean, if FIFA's coming out, is NHL? Oh, NHL is the 15th. Okay, I answered my own question. Carry on.
There you go.
Yeah, football. The sports season's back, although the baseball is just ending now, unfortunately. Let me just run through some of these quick then. Outer Wilds Echoes of the Eye DLC is out. If you have played Outer Wilds and enjoyed it, you absolutely should play this. I'm not going to talk about it at all. It's absolutely brilliant. And if you haven't played Outer Wilds, for goodness sake, go play Outer Wilds. Jet the Far Shore came out today, so I've been playing that for like a month, and I still haven't completed it. I've been on and off with it. It's from the Super Brothers people. I mentioned it a couple of weeks back. It's a sort of a spacefaring game where you control a shuttle. It's a lot about like flow, like collecting things and picking up speed and doing jumps and stuff. But it's very story driven. It's a super narrative based game. So if you're not interested in the story of the world they're telling, I think it could get a bit laborious for people. And I also haven't completed it, and it feels like one of these sci-fi stories that like really the totality of the experience is going to make me feel whether or not this was good or bad. It's setting a very sort of slow paced tone and intentional, and the story's like is doing a lot of groundwork, so I don't know if the payoff will be good, but I'm definitely enjoying it. It's very unique. Yeah, its art style is like super nice, and the music is fantastic. I don't know if it's Jim Guthrie this time around, but it's that type of like really powerful, evocative stuff, very cinematic. But it's an indie game. It's not a like. When, I think you can look at this and some of the screenshots may make it look like it's a bit more of a broader experience than it is. It's fairly like directed. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the reviews are for that actually, because I do feel like it's kind of like an art house movie. I think you're either going to like it or you're not. And then the last thing I played a bunch of.
I just feel like every time you talk about it, I'm either sold on it or I'm just like, fuck, now I don't want to play this. I can't figure it out now.
Yeah, the art house comparison is like, okay, so it's a King Arthur story.
Yeah.
And it's all about his mom? No.
Yeah, like I guess I'm intrigued. Danny, thanks.
Watch the trailer and
really
vibe with the trailer.
Yeah.
It does look. That's the thing.
Looks really cool.
I keep saying that this game trailers super well, right? And then I've got you all over the place here, trying to look for some direction.
I like it, but it feels like
Well, if you like it, I'll like it. I feel like that's good. Yeah.
It's the type of game where like the rest of the world disappears when I'm playing it. It like the world sucks you in.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Say no more.
I'm vibing it, but it's also. I'm just gonna leave it there because I keep pissing you off by being.
Backlar's off now.
Flip flopping me.
And then, have any of you played Hell Let Loose?
I've been looking at it, and it's a game I probably will play at some point, but I have not checked it out yet.
So strange. So I guess a lot of people played it. It was in early access since 2019. It had a PC release sometime in the summer. I think it was July. It's out on consoles. I think it was last night. It's actually, if you have PSN, you can get it on PS5 for free. If you have PSN, and it's oh god, it's kind of like it's as close to like a sort of multiplayer Operation Flashpoint, where it's definitely it's a World War II kind of large scale battlefield style mill sim, where there's certain aspects of it that are very technical. The audio design is amazing, like the sound of like bullets flying over your head. It's super intense. You're playing in squads of players. They have like proximity chat, and I feel like it's one of these games where you really need to like settle in with proximity chat with people to like keep your squad alive. The time to kill and time to die is the time to die is quite fast if you get hit, and then you're on the ground and it's like this super intense blood curdling, like blah, blah. You could press a button to like basically, die, or you can wait there for like minutes on end, like choking for someone on your squad to come save you. Yeah, it's but I played last night and I was part of like a rush of like maybe 40 different people trying to like move back an enemy line, and it was so cool because you're just like, you can get shot once and you'll basically go down. And they have it's the first time I played one of these games where there's a real tactical advantage in laying down suppressing fire, because if you shoot over people or if you're getting shot at, the screen kind of like blackens in a bit and like makes it claustrophobic, and you're going to get hit soon. So there was a lot of like people shouting, covering fire so they could go get friendlies that had been shot and stuff. It's neat. I think if you have PSN, you should definitely give it a go. It's a real like, I'm not sure if this is for me type of game, but I like what it's attempting to do. I've never played anything like it before.
Sick.
Sweet. Yeah, it seems like a lot, but like kind of cool that it's out on console, because it feels like this game this type of game would normally get like relegated to like PC, and you'd just be like, you'd hear about it and go like, oh, so it's like Squad, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah,
it's that like that space has gotten weirdly large with like. Arma's obviously done so well, and I will say it also is fairly buggy. I've had like the UI break on me a few times, and I've had to like hard restart the game, and I got disconnected from much of the game. So, but it was launch night, so. But it's it is one of those, But the scale of it and the intensity of it is something that is kind of feels fresh and new, because a lot of those games like Arma, like they're very engineered, like they don't feel evocative because they're so simulation-y, whereas this one I think strikes a good balance with like all your buddies kind of shouting and running in with you.
Cool.
Excellent. Is that the end of the Danny show, or
that's my lot? It's my 4 weird games. No one else.
That's
is
your
playing.
time.
The Danny.
You yield the rest of your time there.
I do.
Great. Jason, you spent some time with the Castlevania Advanced Collection.
I did, yeah. I was on vacation last week and needed something to play, and
how's that
the Castlevania series on the handheld is like it's a blind spot for me. I haven't played many of the DS stuff or the advanced stuff. So this was a fun little treat. I hopped into Aria of Sorrow. To back up, this is like 4 different games. Let's see if I can remember: Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, and then Dracula X. That's all 4. Otherwise, yeah, that's it. But it's got like modern sensibilities. It's got like a rewind feature, which is really cool. Graphical options. I don't even think there are like the smoothed out graphic options. I think they're done with that. So yay, we won finally. And I played mostly Aria. I played through most of it actually. I'm at like 90% map completion or something like that. So I'm probably going to finish that up. I love it. I think it's really, really good. Like, I think it's my second favorite behind Symphony, which I adore. So this seems to be a pretty good collection for only $20. You're getting 4 games. And
the Dracula X, that's like the SNES game, right?
Yeah, it's a SNES one. It's not the 2.5D.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Or whatever.
I saw an option in there. I haven't checked this out, but like I saw someone saying that there was a sound option in there that lets you turn off the tinny, shitty sample rate of the GBA, which is like right there. That? You're like, oh, awesome! Like getting full sample rate versions of that music is
I forgot about that.
Rad.
Yeah, that's on by default. So I didn't even turn it off. I'm not about to. Not a chance. I actually use the rewind feature quite a bit. I've never used anything like that before. It was super helpful, obviously. And like all of a sudden I'm super good at Castlevania now. This is great.
Like your speed run.
And they've got a replay feature too, where you can actually like save your run. You've got like 4 different slots for it and then you play it back and it's like the entire run. It's neat. Yeah. That's the modern, things that they're adding to these collections is, making it, more worthwhile, I think. So yeah, I really enjoy seeing that stuff. But fuck, I'm a fan of these games. Holy shit.
It's a steal real good. At like $20.
Yeah, $20 is unbelievable. Yeah.
Those games, I feel like because they made a bunch, they eventually went on to make a bunch of DS games too. And I feel like every time one came out, like they were still really awesome, but more and more people kind of just fell off and forgot that, like, hey, by the way, Iga is still out there cranking out fucking badass Castlevania games post
really fucking good games, like all the way through Order of Ecclesia. Even like that might be my favorite one of the handheld Castlevanias, and it was one of the last ones. Like those games just constantly whip ass.
Yeah, it's just like people stopped appreciating. I shouldn't say that. Like there were definitely like people that loved those games when they came out, but it felt like as they went on, like I understand why they stopped making them at some point, because I bet like more and more people just kind of moved on and just stopped paying attention to them. And so it just became this weird thing where like they're quietly cranking out amazing handheld Castlevania games, but people stopped caring 3 games ago. And it was weird. It was weird at the time. But that's awesome that these are coming out again.
Yeah, I tried firing up Circle of the Moon, and I don't know if it's just because I haven't played it since it was, when I played on the GBA, but it felt so much slower and clunkier. I don't know if that's just like my muscle memory or whatever, but then
I think you're just getting old. Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm not. Young forever. Peter Pan.
Sounds like.
Rufio.
Sounds like.
But I fired up Aria of Sorrow, and then like that felt like much tighter. But thank God for the rewind feature. Otherwise, Circle of the Moon would have been like, maybe I don't like this game.
Yeah.
And Harmony of Dissonance seems like the one that people are a little more iffy on in terms of quality.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm just glad we're not doing the like trope of like shaking our hand at the sky like, in my day you couldn't rewind a game. You had to live through that shit. We're not gonna do it because it's awesome.
Fuck it. Yeah, it's great.
I use that on the Super Nintendo for Switch all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
No shame, baby.
And if you really want to be a dick about it, don't show the person that they can do it. You know, like that's what I do. You know, let them suffer for a couple months and then unlock that for them.
Say, hey, by the way,
hey, you know, this button rewinds the fucking game, and you could just
yo, what?
Hey, Ben, I am dying to hear about this Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Yes.
Yeah. So it just came out last night. So I haven't put too much time into it. I played about an hour and a half this morning. This is the Smash-like from Luminosity, I think is the developer. They did Slap City.
Okay. You were a fan of that. Yeah.
I really liked Slap City. It was a game that looked like a joke, but played incredibly well. Like, it was something you could tell that they were passionate about making a game that played well. With it had their own internal roster of characters. They had released some like Zelda clones and some other little games, and they decided to put all their characters in a Smash like that actually played really fucking well. And so they, in conjunction with Game Mill, I think, made this. You know, I'm still pretty early on. Next week, I would probably have some better things to say overall. But right out the gate, my experiences with it are pretty similar to my experiences with Slap City, where the game plays extremely well. By it plays extremely well, I'm a melee freak, so you should know what that means. It's got really tight controls. You can wave dash. You can, jump out of shield, which enables you to wave dash out of shield. You can wave dash out of specials, stuff like that. Like, if you're a freak like me, you're going to pick this up and immediately it's going to feel right. Like, which is super cool. The roster is cool. Like, it's a huge time range of Nickelodeon stuff you're working with. Like, you go all the way back to Ren and Stimpy. Like, they've got Powdered Toast Man in there as a character.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Up to like modern stuff like the Loud House, the Loud Family. It's after my time. Lincoln
there's
Loud.
a character on the cover. I have no idea who this little boy is.
Yeah, I believe that's Lincoln Loud. Him and his sister are in the game, but like pretty much. Like, with a few exceptions here and there, the roster is like my dream roster for Nickelodeon. Like, there's no Doug, there's no Rocco, but other than that, like, they got Cat.
Well, Doug's a traitor anyway. He jumped ship.
Why is Doug a traitor?
Yeah,
what the fuck are you saying?
He went to Disney.
Oh, really?
He went to Disney, dog.
And he lost a hair in the process.
Yeah.
That's when Roger acted all brand new and forgot who he was.
He won the lottery.
Whoa, what?
Roger Klotz won the lottery in the Disney. Yeah, dude, it got weird when Doug got to high school.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? He wasn't in high school in the Nickelodeon
Elementary.
Junior high?
He was in elementary, yeah.
Or elementary?
Fucking Roger was like rocking a leather jacket already. I feel like you can't rock a leather jacket in fucking middle school.
That's a cool
I thought he
middle
had
schooler.
like flunked like a bunch of like he was actually like 13,
Like he was
14.
22.
Yeah. Totally. That tracks.
What's Doug's neighbor's name?
Skeeter?
Skeeter. No,
Yeah.
Mr.
Skeet.
Oh, yeah, Skeeter.
He goes,
no, Mr. Dink.
Mr. Dink. Oh,
Mr.
Dink would have been S tier.
Yeah, Mr. Dink. But you got like cool avatar representation. They got Ong, they got
Korra.
Toph, and Korra. Yeah, I think it's a really good roster. And then the bad is, it's a $40 game. So there's going to be some concessions made. There's no voice acting in the gameplay, meaning like, in the characters don't really make a lot of sounds when they do their moves. Nobody calls out moves and stuff like that. The music is a little generic. It is similar to the music in Slap City. It was probably made by the same team. I was reading, I haven't gotten into the arcade mode, but I read that there might be some voice acting there from certain characters.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So it just seems a little bare bones on that front. Some of the animations are a little iffy, but I saw screenshots of one of the developers in their Discord saying that like they have committed to and have a runway to update a lot of stuff. They want to polish a lot of it going forward. They said the game is not going to look anything like it is right now in a year. They're like really committed to. So it seems like maybe there was
60.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like a backdoor early
It's an
access.
RTS.
By the time we're done, it's just going to be like a double dare. It's just going to be Mark Summers as the only character.
Yeah.
stars.
He should be like the master hand of the
exactly.
Like that's. I feel like that there's a whole era of Nickelodeon just missing from this game, and that is when I was watching Nickelodeon.
If I could build my own Double Dare obstacle course,
is there any green slime in this game? Like, does it have items? Is green slime one of the items? I feel like that's something that's just so synonymous with that era of Nick that.
Can I be both members of the Orange Iguanas?
Oh, yeah.
Ice Climbers, baby. Oh,
Ice Climbers or Olmec, dude.
Oh, Olmec. Oh,
man. Yo, so...
Can I be the aggro crag?
You just want to...
Is there an aggro crag stage?
Aggro crag.
There's got to be an aggro crag stage.
Of the glowing rock? But listen to this. I don't want to break out of this conversation real quick. This thing called the American Dream or something like this in Jersey opened up, and it was so. If you're not from around here, you don't know about this part of this land.
Do you co-own this Bacalar? Are you just
not at all?
Something?
No, it's probably like
I thought you were talking about
Mafia.
Far Cry 6 again because it talks. Yeah, like they talk so much about the American Dream in there. But
there's this piece of land that has been under development for decades. And they it never got figured out. It was always going to be this indoor snow hill, and they only just started to open it up. And part of it is a gigantic, I guess, Viacom park where all of these Nickelodeon rides and shit are there. So my wife and kid went over the summer and no one was there, and they were just hanging out with Olmec, Ren and Stimpy. It's the whole thing. It's all that shit, and you could just party with. Yeah, there it is, Nickelodeon universe. So they've got. So it's so it's Viacom, right? So they got the Paw Patrol shit and all that
it's a really
stuff.
high res SpongeBob.
I gotta tell you though, they literally put a dome around a huge amusement park. It's crazy.
That's so weird. That's super strange.
Yeah. Dude, I was on a company retreat. I mean,
and it's here's the thing though, it's brand new, so it hasn't got the gunk on it yet. You know what I mean?
No.
So they gunk. All went and once it's all gunked up,
nobody has died on a ride at the American Dream yet.
I mean, there's definitely bodies under the foundation for sure. Yeah. But
I mean, this was built on a toxic waste plant or something, right? I mean, it's Jersey.
Without a doubt.
It's Jersey.
Without a doubt. Okay. Anyway, this is pretty funny.
Just to keep the tangents going, the RV park I stayed at on the weekend was Yogi Bear themed.
Oh,
nice.
That's a little too on the nose.
Yeah, Jellystone, which apparently they're I looked at a map of them, where they are in America, and they're Midwest to East, they're everywhere. And then there's two in Colorado.
Of camping? Camping grounds? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then west of that, there's one in Lodi, California, and that's it. So
sounds about right.
It was a good time. It was a really good time.
Fantastic.
So I'll play more of that All-Stars Brawl and check in with a little more informed.
What's the online like? So far?
Online seems pretty good. It's not rollback, though many games are adding that post-release. So who knows? I played, I'd say maybe a dozen matches online, and all of them had relatively good connection, except for one was really laggy, even though it said we were at 30 ping from each other. So it seems a little. There's quick play, there's competitive.
That could, really make or break the game.
Do you think people will take it seriously, or is it going to end up like a Shrek Super Slam where people take it there is a subset of people that take it seriously, and everyone goes
at a Smash tournament, there will be a corner of 12 dudes playing Nick All-Stars Brawl.
I think as bad as the other people.
I think it depends. I could see definitely people checking it out, especially because it seems like Smash Ultimate is kind of coming to a close soon. I mean, people are still going to play it. It's just nothing new is going to be coming. I can see it.
All right. And did you want to talk about Slay the Spire?
Yeah, real quick. I just wanted to give a shout out to Slay the Spire, the mobile version specifically. It's a game that is pretty popular, but I don't think has gotten a lot of love on this site.
I love this game.
You know, it's really fucking good, and the mobile version's pretty good. Like, I went on a road trip down south this weekend. Did a lot of driving. Well, I didn't do any driving. I don't have a license. If you're a cop watching, I did not drive that car. And Slay the Spire was just a really good way to pass the time. They've added a lot of stuff post-launch. If you haven't played since it came out, they've added 2 new characters, a new like final boss. They're still doing their daily challenges and stuff. I got to it through another mobile game. Somebody had recommended me another kind of card-based builder, and I was just like, I played a little bit of it, and I was like, why don't I just play the OG, right? Like, why don't I just play the one that inspired all of the other ones? If you were around last year, you know I was like really big into Monster Train, which got a lot of inspiration from Slay the Spire. Also, Slay the Spire, another game coming from the Netrunner scene. The owner of... For people, all 6 of you out there who loved Netrunner, the guy who runs StimHack.com created Slay the Spire, which blew my mind. And if you needed more proof that Netrunner is the greatest card game to ever exist, there it is. Yeah, man, like it's a really good phone game. Like if you've been curious about it and not wanted to like sit down and play the Steam version or whatever, it's one of those deck building roguelikes. It's a game that every run is different. It's got a really nice learning curve where when I first started out playing it, it was very much of like, I'm going to play the cards that do the most damage because I'm an idiot. And then you realize that only gets you so far. And then you're like, I'm going to add a card. Like after every encounter, you get to add a card to your deck because it's one of those kinds of games. And then you start realizing maybe I don't want to do that every time. And maybe I want to consider that I want an optimal deck size. And it's just one of those things that there was like no tutorial in the game. But if you're willing to invest the time in it, the game does a really good job of slowly teaching you over time how to play it and how to be good at it.
Watching people who stream that game every day or every other day, like they play it so fast, and like you get your cards randomly, but they set out with a specific build that just blows my mind. Of like, wait, everything's random. What do you mean you have a build? And like how they're adapting on the fly. And it's I tried Griftlands, I tried Monster Train. I like Monster Train. But I still occasionally also fire up Slay the Spire just to get like a couple quick runs because it just I don't know, man. It's the one.
It's really good. It's like one of those games that I think will have players playing it for a decade. Like it's just that solid.
Well, dang. Well, dang. And then Jen, you showed Unsighted on last week's UPF for a little bit. You've been playing that a little more. How's that treating you?
I'll be as concise as I can be about it. This is a game where I think they targeted Ben Pack, myself, and Jason. And it is like to boil it down to its most simplest elements. It's like a top-down Dark Souls, Majora's Mask, crosscode.
I'm listening.
Pixel art game, and it's absolutely fantastic. If you played Crosscode or liked Crosscode but kind of didn't enjoy the battle system as much, I would recommend this. You have a stamina bar and everything, a dodge roll, a parry, and you eventually can befriend a dog. I named my dog Beef. You got to give him apples, and you gotta let him take a nap and stuff. And the dog helps you fight the enemies around. And the combat takes quite a while to get used to because the other game to throw onto this list of games, Gears of War, because of the active reload.
Oh my god!
You have like 2 weapon slots, so you generally can roll with a melee weapon and then a ranged weapon. And depending on which melee weapon you're using, like they give you a war axe or like a big two-handed weapon.
Does it take up both slots, or
it doesn't
just
take both slots?
Okay.
Thankfully, but it takes so much out of your stamina bar that I tried to roll with that when I first got it. I was getting obliterated, and I switched back to the basic sword. I was still getting obliterated because this game, just like a Souls game, really, really all about stamina management, and they encourage you in so many different opportunities to, hey, you got to learn how to parry and learn how to parry well, because if you do a perfectly timed parry, depending on the enemy, you'll wind up stunning them, and then the next hit you do winds up being a critical hit. The writing is really neat. It's kind of reminds me of like a Mega Man X type of story where the humans are all bad, and then like we're all half human kind of cyborg people. But the humans fucked up the world so much that all the robots are running out of time. And every single NPC you meet, if they're, I think they're an automaton is what they are in the game, they have like a friendship meter or a friendliness meter tied to how they feel about you, but also under that, how many hours they have left to live.
Oh, Jesus.
That's neat.
And like the game is constantly ticking.
Blade
so,
Runner
like,
shit.
yeah. So each time you enter in a new screen, it'll say like, hey, secret basement floor 2, and then it'll show how many hours you yourself have left. There's a
The fuck?
Yeah, it's real tense. But there are items in the game that can increase your time or someone else's time by 24 hours. And I still have like around 200-ish hours left on our player character. So I haven't had to use the meteor dust yet to increase my lifespan.
Yeah.
How long does beef live?
Beef is an animal, so beef can potentially live forever.
Oh, shit.
But,
Okay, good.
So here's
That's
the
not
thing.
how animals work.
Here's my beef with beef.
Beef.
Yum. If you take beef out or like any of the other dogs you'll come across, they eventually have to rest. And they have to take a nap.
Slackers.
They have to take a nap for 3 hours. So if you want to take your dog out to go out and you run with you, to be your little companion to fight the enemies with you, not only do you have to feed them and make sure they're okay, you have to eventually make sure they're taking a nap. And that takes 3 hours off of your game time, which is a neat mechanic. I'm liking everything about the game so far, except two things. Because it's top-down style, there's platforming in the game, and because of the specific
like
arts, yeah, exactly like Crosscode. And because of the art style in this, sometimes it's hard to tell like the depth or like the levels of the different platforms you're going on. There's just bits where isometric platforming doesn't play as well, and it's not a real jump you have, it's like a dodge roll. And I found myself at like a certain part where there's a bunch of timed platforms and I need to get to one little specific thing. And you have to use like a specific weapon to activate the platforms that like I would get up to the point and I just need one little jump and I'd miss it because it's like 1 pixel off or whatever. My other problem with the game is that it does go through a day and night cycle because of the time being a factor in it.
Yeah.
And it's just so damn hard to see when it's nighttime.
It seems very difficult to wrap your head around what you were doing.
It opens up at night and in the rain, and I feel like that was a poor choice to show off the game, because as soon as you get to the open world bit, you're in the daytime in a village and stuff, and things look great. That it just became really hard to not only navigate through the world, but also I just wasn't enjoying it because it was nighttime. There are options not to turn off the night, but if the overall time crunch is kind of stressing you out, this impending doom that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm already stressed out.
You could just turn it off or slow it down at least, because it's constantly ticking.
Cool.
And yeah, there's like a lot of puzzle solving stuff where like you need to throw this boomerang equivalent thing to get onto a trolley cart. A lot of secrets around the environment and whatnot. There's a crafting system, which is kind of like Minecraft, where you have to put your scraps in specific spots to get like bonus items or whatever. But I'm liking it a lot.
Sounds very involved.
There's a lot of systems.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. someone I thought I was going to help wound up dying. Not because I didn't help them properly, but they just I didn't
Keep
get
telling
to
yourself
this.
that. Yeah, it's your fault.
Suited up.
Couldn't have been.
Sure, Jan. Yeah.
But like I generally like in a Souls game, I will get like the panic of like I'm pressing too many buttons when I need to be calm and collected. I don't know what it is about this game, but I wind up being a little bit more calm, and like the pairing system just it just looks so good and feels so satisfying. Also, the main character
good.
Alma, like she just looks so stylish, and like when she even just flips her sword at like a switch to turn it on or off, it's just like wow, damn, you look so fucking cool. Wow, and also
Cool.
Beef, love Beef.
Who
Great
doesn't
dog.
love
I thought you
Beef?
had beef with beef.
Right.
Well, that's only because he has to take a nap, but I get it. I
Yeah,
get
let the
cranky,
dog
too.
sleep, Jan. Jesus.
Yeah.
Give him a fucking apple and let him sleep.
You can pet him too. So
He's
Okay,
no
good.
guapo.
nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Man, that was one hell of a game dump there. We will hit
tis the
up
season.
what's going on in the world of game news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
Let's get real. Let's get Squarespace real. Yes, that's right. It is still time. You heard me before. I'm back to tell you, it continues to be time to turn those dreams into reality with Squarespace, because Squarespace is out there making it easier than ever to launch your passion project. What do you want to do? What do you care about? Are you out there taking cool photos of like water towers? Are you a train person? Do you love trains? Do you want to take pictures of graffiti painted by people who ride the rails and put them on the internet? You could use Squarespace to do that. Do you want to sell prints of that stuff? You can do that too. They can do whatever you're trying to do on the web with their beautiful templates and their world-class designers. You can customize whatever you're looking to with just a few clicks to easily make a beautiful website by yourself. No matter what you're doing, you're selling stuff, you're not selling stuff, it's all right there for you. Analytics are there if you're looking to grow your site. It'll tell you the numbers. You can look at the numbers and go, tweak this, turn this up, turn this down. Let's see how this does. It's all optimized for mobile right out of the box. You don't need to worry about patches or upgrades or all that other stuff. They handle it. They'll handle buying a domain too if you're looking for that. Squarespace empowers millions of people from all walks of life. Designers, lawyers, whatever. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you are ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST. Save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast, and the offer code is BOMBCAST. It's all entirely possible that you are spending a lot of time looking at screens. Screens on your phones, screens on your television screens, pictures in pictures in pictures in pictures, screens in front of your computer, another screen just to the side of that main screen of your computer, a laptop screen. Screens. You know what I mean? All that screen time can be a little rough on the eyes. It's true. That's where Felix Gray comes in. Felix Gray makes lenses that filter 15 times more blue light. And that can make screen time tough on those eyes. That blue light can make it a little disruptive to sleep. So, you're trying to wind down at the end of the day, stuff like that. Felix Gray can filter out that blue light and keep it from agitating your insides. They got classic frame styles. You got your I got tortoise shell. You got all kinds of stuff. I got a pair in front of me right here. Look, I'm opening and closing the box. Here, that's like a tortoise shell. You hear that? It comes in one of those snap cases the glasses come in. That's hard stuff. It's hard stuff. So if you're experiencing any kind of screen-related eye frustration, you can give Felix Gray a try. They've got a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's nothing to lose but eye strain. You know what I mean? Check it out. Get yourself a pair of glasses made for the 21st century and designed for modern, hard-working eyes. Again, you have nothing to lose except maybe eye strain. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/bombcast for the best blue light glasses on the market. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/bombcast. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. felixgrayglasses.com/bombcast.
Well, all right. Welcome back to the Giant Bombcast. Special guest reporter Ben Pack here with us.
I had a news hat. I don't have a hat.
Get that.
Oh, I like your news hat.
With the little.
I got the news slipper.
News hat.
Hey, news slipper.
Oh, don't put that on your head. No.
Oh, the news.
No news.
Dropped,
Where?
like the newest Smash Brother just dropped.
Oh, we have fun here.
No,
Jan, take it away.
All right. Ben, you and I talk about this every time there was like a Smash reveal coming, and then you'd look in my eyes fondly and say, like, today's going to be the day, buddy. Little Key Lad is going to come by, open the doors, and whatnot. And then it'd always be a different person with a sword. And the other time it was like the Persona guy. But today was the day. The final character for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate is Sora.
It's
my
Sora.
goodness.
It's finally here.
Everyone is finally
Sora
here.
to hear it.
kind of had to be, right? I mean, that's didn't like who, you know, I was trying to rack my brain going like, who could this possibly be? They're going to want to end on a high note. They're going to want to end with like someone the people actually wanted instead of like sword asshole number 12. So now they have key asshole number 1.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Right. So Sakurai did his usual little presentation showing off the character and talking about it. And in it, he mentioned that when they originally dropped the "Who do you want to be in Smash" survey, the number 1 result with a bullet by like a large margin was Sora. And in his very polite Sakurai way, he said, like, it was, it required a bit of additional effort to bring this character in versus other IPs that we have dealt with.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It may just be Sora.
Yeah, maybe you don't see
Sora.
any other Disney characters in this trailer, huh? It's
Maybe I
weird,
won't get my wish of Donald Duck doing a Zeta flare and then crying every time after I do it. And also, interestingly, it's the Kingdom Hearts 1 design of Sora and not like 2 or 3.
Well,
Well,
all
they
his
have
other
additional
alts-
costumes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his alt colors are all the different games, and then there's one of the Endless River. Does that mean anything to you? Of course it does.
Oh, my God.
Where he kind of looks like an old Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Is there a
with the
Roxas
big old
one?
eyes.
Do I get a Roxas one?
Not yet, but he said there will be DLC costumes for it. They also showed off the Mii Fighter costumes, and there's an adorable little Doom guy. He just looks great.
So Grub was saying on Twitter earlier, he was like, "Oh, Sora's like shitty," or he didn't say Sora's shitty, but he was just
He
like,
said Kingdom Hearts is
Sora's
shitty.
Sora's from like a
I
shitty
like
game.
Jeff Grubb, but I will fight him.
Yeah,
wanna
you
see
guys
it.
can fight. That's fine. We'll do like a pay-per-view. But I mean, like, what is that about? Is everyone think that the first Kingdom Heart game is very shitty and Sora and by
I'll handle this one, guys.
That all the Kingdom Hearts games are shitty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. I've only played a small taste of a few of them, and I did not like them. But
I'll
that's
just
the
say-
joke.
no other fans of no other series have accosted me at a wedding for things I've said about those video games. There's only one game
That
series
happened to you?
That happened to me. Yes.
Wow.
Can you go into a bit more detail because that
Okay, what's
sounds-
the worst fandom? Is it Kingdom Hearts or is it Homestuck?
Shoot, is there a worse? I'm trying to think if there's a worse.
There has to be one worse one.
Well, I mean,
Because
yeah.
with Kingdom Hearts, you get like the adult Disney weirdo too, right? There's like a bit of that mixed in there, and they're abysmal people. So
Yeah, we are.
truly heartless.
Is it poopy because of like all the rights issues that they probably had to jump through to even get?
The ownership on this stuff is a mess because
Yeah.
Disney owns a piece of it and Square owns a piece of it, and their relationship has. I mean, it's like in some ways it's a miracle that a Kingdom Hearts 3 happened at all.
Yeah.
So the untangling of the rights, getting those companies to a table to figure out what the deal is, and then also the kind of like, I was going to say arbitrary, but I guess it makes sense. The notion that like these characters must come from games that exist on Nintendo platforms, leading to then the simultaneous announcement of cloud versions of Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, and 4.79 divided by fuck you are all coming to Switch. And I love that they say cloud version, because when I first saw that, I was like, oh, do I get to play as Cloud now? Oh, wait, no, that's not what that means at all.
No.
So the amount of business that probably had to take place to get everyone to the table, I bet was a lot of work. Yeah. Especially compared to just like if you're dealing with some other IP that's just like, hey, like if you want to put Sonic the Hedgehog in that game, like you got to have a conversation, but everyone's in agreement that like, yeah, no, we definitely needed to do this. Whereas this is like everyone's got to get theirs. And my understanding, at least, is that relationship has been contentious at times. I don't know where it is now. Maybe it was way easier than it would have been a year ago or whatever. But like, there's just a lot of shit around Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. It's worth noting they already had a foot in the door with Square, because they had Cloud and Sephiroth in there. So,
but even like the Cloud stuff in that game was like super weird and like very limited, wasn't it? Wasn't it just like, hey, like the music or wasn't there some aspect of Cloud in that game that was just like kind of not
about
what
the music or something
you maybe wanted it to be all the way?
I don't quite remember, but I think you're right.
Apparently go ahead.
Go ahead.
The Kingdom Hearts stuff, like the rights and everything, it's so convoluted that the Final Fantasy XIV people who are Square don't want anything to do with Kingdom Hearts because it is that damn of big of a mess to try and untangle with like the rights stuff. Because then like, you know, you're dealing with your own internal stuff, but then how much of Disney can or will you throw in if that was an option? If that's an option, you know? Like, can you have like the Keyblade and show like the Mickey charm on it? And not
no,
right?
They probably couldn't. They might. I don't even know if a Keyblade would. That might even be getting close, if I had to guess. Because Sora, even those characters are like Disney has a piece of those. It's not just like Mickey Mouse and stuff. It is. I think it is Sora and all of them as well. So
this whole game,
like, it's super hairy.
Yeah.
And so that's, it makes sense why this would be last, right? Because they had to like take all the time.
They've been working on this since Melee.
Right. Yeah. I mean, maybe, right? I mean, but whatever. You get different people in different positions and people that want to push that business along, that get passionate about it. Like anything, I feel like a lot of questions as to like why things do or don't happen, especially when it comes to just like how come a sequel to this game didn't happen? How come this character didn't appear here? You need someone or some team of people internally that are championing it and won't shut the fuck up about it and keep bringing it to the table and going like, we need to do this to push those sorts of deals over the line. So it could just be that they finally got in a position where there were enough people on the Disney side, on the Square side, to like really care about it in a way to make it happen. But
and maybe selling it like, hey, it's going to be the big last, like, you know.
Exactly. Like, here's a prominent placement for this. So it's like a good thing. Also, it's going to come along with these games coming to the Switch in the first place and all of that stuff. So, at some point it's all business. At some point it's all contracts.
It's all business.
I mean, I think it's working to bring Sora in, because I had a lot of friends that don't really post or play much video games get super excited about Sora popping up into Smash.
Wow, really?
Friends that were like, I don't even have a Switch. I love Kingdom Hearts. I'm going to buy a Switch right now.
How does this exist? How do these timelines exist?
We're a fun group of people. We're a fun group.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is a momentous thing, because this could be the last Smash character added to a Smash game ever. Like, Sakurai has said before, I'm done with Smash, before Ultimate even, obviously, but dude's been working on Smash since 1998. That's a long-ass time. Like, he is going to step away from this series at one point, and if they continue on without him, who knows? Like, I think I honestly think it's like a 50-50 if there's another Smash game, because like obviously it's selling bonkers. It always sells really extremely well. It's the largest selling fighting game of all time. And we'll see. You know, I obviously, like, whenever there's a new console, one of the first things they want to tout is like a new Smash. So,
and I think that's
again.
I think there will be another Smash Brothers game someday. Even if Sakurai was right now like, I am legit done, like for real this time. I do think, again, I think some of that gets back to just like, are there enough people with passion for a franchise internally to really rally for it and make sure that continues on? I suspect there are enough people around Sakurai that they would pick up the torch and
I'm sure,
and keep that thing going. If only, not even for the business reasons, yes, but like Nintendo is really good at just like leaving money on the table and fucking things up and not making the games that like you look at and go like, a zillion people would buy this thing. Like, there is totally a world in which Nintendo goes like, all right, that's it for Smash. But I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think there are still probably enough people on all ends of that relationship, publisher, developer, the IP holder, whatever, that are still into this. It would be hard for me to imagine them getting to whatever their next generation of hardware is, not just a Switch Pro or whatever, but like an actual true next thing. Like that seems like the right time for them to go like, all right, here's more of that.
Yeah. Next up, couple of acquisitions. Sony has acquired Bluepoint Games, who you might know as the masters of remasters. They started out with the God of War trilogy, I think. I can't remember. There was like a bunch of different God of War remasters. They did Demon's Souls, the Nathan Drake collection, Shadow of the Colossus. But now they're officially absorbed into Sony proper. And interesting enough, they said that they are going to be working on original content going forward, not just remasters. Those remasters and remakes have always been really solid.
Shadow of the Colossus,
they put really good. Some work, yeah.
I'm excited to see what they can do with something new.
Yeah, me too. I think that's talk about Sakurai working on that since 1998. They've become like one of the best at an incredibly particular style of games development of trying to create something that not, feels like what you played before, but doesn't play like how it played before. It's like,
right.
It's a type of skill that like, it must be hard to move away from because you become like the best in class at doing this particular thing. So I think it's cool. Hopefully like that bit of injection of capital or that bit of stability will let them, make the Bloodborne remaster everyone wants, but also maybe, do some of their own stuff. Like,
and I think
really cool.
Original content doesn't necessarily mean brand new IP either.
Right.
It's entirely
That's
possible that they are working on something in the Sony pantheon that has a defined set feel and style and all that sort of stuff.
Siphon filter.
There you go.
Sly Cooper, damn it.
Tease me.
Siphon filter reboot that everyone's been demanding.
Put
them on Wipeout. No.
SOCOM. Give us SOCOM.
Yeah,
SOCOM
Devil
Wipeout.
Dice. Is Sony on that?
You need a new net Roversy to get
actually
that.
own that.
I gotta look that up.
IP.
I don't think they do. Actually, they have a development credit on it, but on that franchise. But Shift is the name of the developer that worked on Zai Jumbo. Japanese.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
Also, kind of out of left field, Netflix has acquired their first game studio, Night School, the creators of Oxenfree.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to say here other than this is like Netflix has been talking about getting into the games game for a little while now. They hired former EA and Oculus alum Mike Verdu a little while ago to head up its gaming division. Not a lot they don't have a lot of announcements or anything. They're just like, the typical kind of, we're excited to work with Netflix to bring our unique style of storytelling. But they've been dipping their toes a little bit with the what was it, Bandersnatch, right? It was kind of their first like interactive media thing.
I think they put the Minecraft story game
right.
onto Netflix.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And
I think they've done maybe half dozen of them or something.
Yeah, there's the WWE interactive movie where the New Day has to escape the Undertaker. I think that just hit Netflix recently.
It did, yeah.
And they're still working on Oxenfree too.
Like I think, LMFAO.
Yeah, right. Yes, the ultimate interactive film. But yeah, no, they're still working on Oxenfree 2, I believe. So I don't necessarily think that'll end up. So I think a lot of the Netflix plan, or how they framed it, is like it's going to largely be mobile, and I think they are testing some mobile stuff in some regions right now. I thought I saw a story about that last week, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like Night School will do Oxenfree 2, and then maybe see how they fit into the Netflix thing, wherever that nets out. I don't know.
Boy, next up, a story close to me, close to my heart. International, the largest esports event of the year, a tournament with $40 million in prizes up for grabs. First place of this tournament is going to get $19 million.
Jesus. For the whole team, right?
For the whole team.
Damn.
Holy shit.
You get 100K if you come in last, man. Like it's it's a year-long thing to get in. There's qualifiers. There's a whole DPC point system. Anyway, with COVID being so prominent last year, they obviously didn't have a chance to have TI. I believe this is TI 10. It's either 10 or 11. I can't remember. It was originally scheduled to happen last year in Stockholm. Obviously, they couldn't do that. Valve announced earlier this year, hey, we're back on Stockholm. It's happening. TI, baby. We're going to do it. And then I'd say a couple months, maybe even a couple weeks away from that, from the proposed start date, which was supposed to be a few months ago, I think in like August or something. Valve said that they lost the rights to hold an event in Stockholm because they did not qualify as, quote, an elite sporting event, which were the only large gatherings that had the okay to do, big in-person stadium events.
Right. Oh, wow.
It's not a real
Funnily
sport.
enough people have been pissed about that since that the next Counter-Strike tournament is going to be in Stockholm. They've changed, they kind of loosened the laws a little bit around it.
I mean, Counter-Strike is better than Dota, is what I'm hearing.
There's a case to be made for that. So
anyway.
With not much to do, they had to kind of find the next best place that they could on short notice, and that was in Bucharest, in Romania. They moved the date up to October 7th, and everything was looking all right up until a couple days ago when Valve announced that tickets were no longer in sale and everyone was going to get a refund because of new lockdown mandates about in-person gatherings in Romania, because COVID is skyrocketing there. It's one of the lowest vaccinated European countries, I believe. There's a big religious movement against vaccines there, and there's all sorts of protests happening. So the situation is quite dire. They are still going on with the tournament, though there will be no audience. People will still play in person, but it's just a mess. A team got COVID and has been quarantined. There are videos coming out of showing what the hotel situation is like, and they have a whole team packed into like a kitchen of a hotel room playing. It's just a mess, man. And it's a shame to see because there's so much money. That $40 million is I don't want to get the number right, but it's a fraction of what they made. The international is typically funded with the Battle Pass sales in Dota, but it's only a fraction of what Valve makes that goes to the prize pool. Like Valve pockets a significant chunk of that money. So millions of dollars were raised for this tournament, and it just stinks. Obviously COVID is going to throw a wrench into everyone's plans, but at a certain point you just have to wonder, like, is it worth having it at all if they have to
to sell tickets in the first place to it?
Right.
It just seems like a series of like, this went wrong, now what do we do? Okay, this went wrong, now what do we do? And you end up in like a team packed into a kitchen somewhere in Romania. And you're like, this is clearly not what we wanted to do for our $19 million tournament. Like that's, not a good look, but like,
how long does the international normally go for? It's not just all done in a day, right?
No, it's a 10-day total with a couple of days break in the middle.
So this is like maybe an event that people would have traveled and gotten to Romania before the actual date, right?
Tons of people are posting on Reddit about how they got screwed out of airline and hotel stuff because,
God
Dota groups from around the world love to meet up at the International. It's a long-standing Dota tradition. You and your homies go to the International and hang out and watch and play Dota and stuff. So, they might have gotten their tickets refunded, but the airlines aren't going to buy that as an excuse for why you're trying to get your money back 3 days before your flight or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
It's messed up. Yeah.
The tournament will still be, I'm still excited to watch some Dota, but it's just going to have this dark cloud over it the whole time. And it's unfortunate.
It kind of always was.
Yeah.
There's, the cloud would be darker if they just went on and be like, we're letting people in, screw it. And that'd be even scarier in a lot of ways. So, yeah, man, it's rough.
Yeah, and then really brief on that front.
Hey, at least Evo will be on,
Oh, Danny.
Yeah, we got
Danny, I've got that news.
Oh no, what about Christmas? Is that still happening?
Everyone remembers Evo Online, an event that totally happened a few months ago. They promised during it that, hey, obviously this is online. It's not what you expect from Evo, what you want from Evo. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 2 people from each region for each game, fly them out to Vegas, and have an in-person tournament. And it's canceled.
Wait. God damn it.
Yeah, Vegas is insane right now that I feel like they could have just done it anyway.
Right. Yeah. This feels if they didn't have a large, gathering, if they had an X amount of people, small amount of people, they could have controlled this, require vaccinations or something, and then, have everybody mask up and then stream that, still do the online or the in-person event, but just don't have it open to a crowd.
I wonder if this has to do with travel restrictions. If there's just certain international travel that by bringing players in from other regions, if they're just we literally cannot get them to Las Vegas because of COVID.
Right.
That's a good point.
And if that did, I get that all these event-based companies and events and event-based businesses and stuff have to pick a time when they are we've got to go on with the show. This company won't exist if we don't have a PAX, if we don't have an Evo, if we don't, push into the TI. I mean, whatever, Valve is in no danger. But it's still really baffling to me that when you consider what the situation is around the world with this stuff still, that these plans got this far to begin with in some ways. It's just
PAX West happened this year, right? It's it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, right. I just don't understand why this is happening so late in the game for some of this stuff, or why it got scheduled at all.
Yeah,
it just seems like a money thing.
Optimistic at best.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna skip this next one. Konami, they're making games again.
eFootball 2022.
You heard of eFootball, but what about Metal Gear Solid 3?
Yeah, so in a story that originally was reported by Video Game Chronicles, citing an inside source, has since been corroborated by a few places, that Konami is getting serious about games again. They said as much, but everyone kind of laughed it off. It's what do you mean you're going to
put that free Bomberman out on more platforms? All right, I guess.
It's the Castlevania collection, sure, some old games, that's fine. But apparently, the rumors, there's 3 big ones. First, MGS3 Remake, which is, I feel has been, I was hearing those rumors a while ago.
Yeah.
It seems quite likely that that'll happen, which is exciting. That's my favorite Metal Gear. I would love to see it get a nice modern treatment. Fix some of the camera controls, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot you could do with a remake of that game that would make it much more palatable today than it was then. Whatever. People love that game. They're wrong.
4K Bs.
4K Bs. also a Castlevania, quote, reimagining. Interested to see what that means.
Is there any?
If it's going to be 2D, if it's going to be 3D, like, I don't know.
It's been imagined already.
I think when you reimagine Castlevania, it usually, I feel like every time they've said that, you've ended up with like Castlevania 64 or like Lords of Shadow or some of the
fighting game on
Dreamcast
Wii.
game that got the fighting game on the Wii, the Dreamcast game that got canceled. Like whenever they try to really make things happen with Castlevania, it's rarely gone well. I know Lords of Shadow has its fans, but like, come on.
Yeah. Not the second one so much, but I played the first one. Yeah. I mean, it's such a tried and true formula that's still popular today. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you want to change
Jason, can I pitch you something?
Yeah.
Okay. What if they did a collaboration with Nintendo and they just made a game called Metroidvania?
Oh my God. There we go.
It's co-op.
There we go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
sign me up.
Right there.
I think you could do. I mean, you could certainly make a new 2D game. I mean, there's a ton of those coming out that are in the shadow of Castlevania and Metroid and all that other stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Reimagining Castlevania to me says like, well, that anime was popular on Netflix, and we've got to do something about that. And so, like, I wonder if you end up with something that's a little bit tied to that vibe, but I don't know.
That could be interesting, especially because they announced that they're going to do more of that series, but from different Dracula or different hunters' points of view. So, like,
will Dracula still be a threat? That is my main question.
I hope not. Every time his castle shows up, it just raises rent prices everywhere.
What do you think happened over there? Do you think Konami was just like one of those executive reshuffle things where like somebody comes in and goes, video games, or we're going to focus on the health, and then like someone else gets in there,
COVID thing.
Yeah, so I ended up looking into this a little bit, and Pachinko got super hit hard by COVID. Interesting, though, that I was reading about this. The Japanese government said, no more pachinko, no more in-person pachinko, you can't do it, but didn't actually have any authority to shut down the parlors who decided to
You'll never close us.
And so they
ran pachinko all day.
I mean, maybe. Like, I'm not saying it, but Danny said it, and I think Danny might be onto something.
Who's now?
The article I was reading is, typically the way they deal with it is they do something called name and shame, where they like say like, these people aren't following the rules, but it backfired because everyone's like, oh, those are the open pachinko parlors, I'm going there.
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
Awesome.
Thanks for the free advertising.
I'm surprised they didn't just rig up like cloud pachinko and just like, all right, hook up a servo to the little knob, and then you just play it on your phone.
Games.
Exactly. Yeah,
they do that. Wow. Yeah, for sure. For like
even in Pinball Land.
No, even that latency will never work with that. But they do it with like in person like casino stuff like blackjack, or like they'll put you in a fucking chair and you'll look at a human who's like dealing cards. Like that's the thing.
That stuff's insidious because you see it and it's just like always.
It's very sad looking.
Yeah, real sad looking.
Sad, because you're there and the dealer is just like, at least the dealer gets to talk to people when they're, dealing blackjack. You're just staring at 7 lenses.
I've seen some that like you can text chat back to the dealer, and so they will be reading chat and respond.
That helps
some of that
a
stuff.
tiny bit, but shit.
And some of them that seem like it's like, well, what if the dealer was a bikini girl? Would we get more people to watch this thing or be a part of? I don't know. There's people that stream themselves playing those things, and it's always just like, here's some random Eastern European website that people are going to and looking at really wild shit, fake gambling, fake real gambling. You're like, I don't know what we're doing.
Danny, you stumble on something real bad?
I did some. I was doing some research just because it all coalesced.
Some chips?
No, I was on eBay looking at pachinko machines because I was realizing, you could just go down that route. And I found one here, a Castlevania Konami, in capitals, erotic violence pachinko slot ball machine.
Whoa.
It's my favorite kind.
So I'm going to send it to Jason. It's only
thank you.
$2.5 grand.
Boy.
And then real quick,
DDR out of this?
Anyway.
No DDR, but the last thing, maybe the most tormented fan base of all time, gets another little crumb tossed at them, with Silent Hill being the third franchise rumored, which would line up with a YouTube video that Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka had said, quote, "I think this is the one you're hoping to hear about in talking about upcoming projects." Basically, like saying, like, Silent Hill, and then they deleted it kind of immediately, which got people even more, uproar and a tizzy.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what that would do.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, more Silent Hill. I don't know. Anyone super excited? I never.
Yes.
People are just going to be pissed, right? Even if a new one comes out, they'll all be like, "Oh, but we wanted Silent Hills,"
We wanted PT.
They're stuck with that forever.
Yeah, I guess I'm the Silent Hill person, so I'll say I don't give a shit. I don't whatever Silent Hill they're going to give me. I don't want that Silent Hill. Silent Hill I want can't exist. So therefore,
He wants that erotic violence Silent Hill.
Exactly.
Yeah, where's that link, Danny?
Where's that?
Isn't that all of them? Right?
I think someone in chat bought it.
Damn it.
God damn it.
I think it'd be cool to see Konami getting back in the game. I don't know, this last story I thought was interesting. Konami announced that they're holding speaking of Konami, they announced that they're holding a contest for indie creators to reimagine old Konami games. I'm just going to read this quote that was translated by IGN Japan. Konami's action and shooting game contest asks indie creators to plan and develop new action games and shooters based on past Konami titles. The rules allow for creators to make remakes or sequels. They can pick out a single character or a mechanic from a past title, or even change or combine genres that may have not been in the originals. Worth noting that this isn't just them asking for free labor. They are going to pay out to winners.
Only the winners, though.
Yes.
Yeah, just the winners, and then they get like 18 grand.
They get 18
want
grand,
to make a
and
commercial
then,
version
but
of the
also,
game.
like,
Konami will give them another 200 grand, which is like, how much, you're going to make a fucking Twin Bee remake on $250,000? Really? Like,
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So if this is Konami getting back into video games, they should get the fuck out.
But like, are these two stories mutually exclusive? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah. And like, so the list of games is like, it's like all the they have a list. It's like Gradius, Gradius 2, Gradius 3, Gradius 4, Gradius 5,
Just say
Gradius
the one,
Gaiden,
say the one that breaks
Nemesis,
my heart.
Nemesis 2, Gradius Reverse, Salamander, Life Force. Is like here's, and then what about Gradius for the MSX? You could do that one too. It's like, oh, that's
Crazy.
not covered by regular ass Gradius on there. It's just it's a bizarre list of like,
What other game? What other franchise?
Parodius is on here.
No.
That was the one for me. Yar Kung Fu
about
is on
sexy
here.
Parodius?
He's a little guy. He's got blue hair.
Goemon, yeah, Goemon is on here.
Oh,
Yep. All the Goemon games are.
I'm taking
listed.
Danny's idea, man. I'm going to put Metroid in Castlevania.
Pooyan.
Yeah, the
you want to make a
mechanic I'm taking
Pooyan?
is-
Now's the time. Get the cellar door. Get the fuck is that? Rogue Legacy people to make a Pooyan game, because they made a pretty good fake Pooyan game in Rogue Legacy.
Nice.
Make a new Axlay. This one doesn't slow down this time. Give me 200 grand. Fucking here's our gritty new Gyrus reboot. Like, it's just like a weird, it's like, here's a list of Konami games that they're definitely never going to do anything with ever again.
Yeah.
Which is sad. Like Blazing Lasers is on here. It's just like, because they own some of the HUDs and stuff. Like Millen's Secret Castle is on here. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
I don't think I've ever heard of that game.
It's a weird little musical platformer thing. Yeah, I don't know. Just like the idea that this is, and they're teaming up with, it's like some game camp, game school, game creators camp.
Oh Christ! Yeah, for kids probably. Child labor.
Yeah. So I guess like that's the thing is like they're doing it as a weird contest. So they're like telling a bunch of people to go off and make stuff for this contest, and then if you get chosen, maybe you could get some more money from Konami if you want to make it a commercial thing. So it's not like they're out there taking pitches from established devs and saying like, hey, we're open for business. If you got a pitch, let's hear it. If you want our Yar Kung Fu 3, let's talk about it. Like it's just other weird ass separate thing that is not quite what you want and sounds like that Ubisoft thing in a weird way of like, oh yeah, we'll pay for your make a bunch of stuff for our game because Beyond Good and Evil 2 ain't gonna happen by itself. Yeah. So
That's right.
I imagine the camp is like a Squid Game for video games.
yeah.
Just designing it with like the sugar cookies.
Mm-hmm.
That's news.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Go put away the slipper.
I feel informed.
Yeah. Just you're at ease now.
I went to
Please.
journalism school,
Dang.
Yeah, it shows.
Yeah.
how come you don't have a news hat? How come you just have news slippers?
Yeah.
I lost it.
Aren't you supposed to get that when you
They
graduate?
took your hat away?
They actually gave me something much better than a news hat when I graduated. They gave me the International Press Pass, which is a laminated little card that said, "You're a journalist now. Go forth and cross borders.
Go forth.
Be brave and tell
sounds-
stories." And
That's some gift shop bullshit.
Is that the
you
one you
got.
stick in your trilby? You kind of like poke it at the top. Is that
Yeah.
Seriously.
yeah, that's the one I showed
Flash
the guards as they're taking me away for hopping the border without a passport.
I'm an international
it's okay.
journalist, though.
It's laminated.
Laminated.
It's got lanyard.
Beat this fucker extra hard.
Jesus. All right. We're going to take one last break. We'll get back to, I don't know what letter comes in front of mail, but we're going to do it. When we come back, see you on the other side.
Mental health. Are you taking care of it? I'm going to say odds are you're not. I think a lot of people, are kind of letting this pass off to the side. But hey, these last couple of years, kind of been a lot. It's 2021, so maybe make mental health a thing for you if you're struggling. Because therapy can help. It doesn't have to be, you sitting around talking about your feelings. Therapy can kind of adjust to be whatever you need it to be. You can privately talk to someone if you feel like you're not dealing well with stress or you're having relationship issues, that sort of thing. Whatever you need. You don't need to be ashamed about it. These are normal human struggles. And you deserve to be happy, right? I mean, come on. You're you. You don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help, because now there's BetterHelp. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. So, you want to be on camera, you can. You don't have to be, though. It can be more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what therapy is really about and see if it's for you, because you are your greatest asset. You can get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp by going to betterhelp.com/bombcast. That's betterhelp.com/bombcast. I think, I think sometimes podcast advertisers, they could use a song, right? Like some kind of theme song. Like this one could be quip, 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 quip. It's game over for plaque. Am I right? With the Quip toothbrush. Smart technology is here now to simplify and improve your life. And you can get rewards for brushing your teeth? That's just nonsense, but Quip is making it a reality. Free products, gift cards, and more. The Quip Smart Brush can be for adults or kids, and it connects to the Quip app via Bluetooth. So you can look at your toothbrush stuff on your phone. It'll track when and how well you brush. It'll give you tips and coaching to improve your habits. And you can earn points for daily brushing and bonus points for completing challenges like streaks. So, you know, if you're brushing your teeth every day, it'll be like, hey, nice. You did the thing. Some people don't, you know, like, you know, some people, you know, need that little extra push. You can redeem this stuff for rewards, free products, gift cards, discounts from Quip and from partners. So, you know, you can get some stuff. If you already have a Quip, you can upgrade it with a smart motor and keep the features you know and love. It's got sensitive sonic vibrations, a 2-minute timer to make sure that you're, you know, covering each quadrant of the mouth in 30-second pulses for a nice guided clean. It's slim, lightweight, and sleek. No wires, no bulky charger to weigh you down. It's got a must-use travel cover that you can use. Doubles as a mirror mount for less clutter. Nice. Nice. And Quip has more. It's not just the smartest toothbrush on the market. They also have mint or watermelon toothpaste with anti-cavity ingredients for strong, healthy teeth. Floss. You gotta floss. The Quip toothbrush is smart, but you gotta floss too. That's just that is the rules of the road, people. They got a refillable sugar-free gum and a one-click dispenser that delivers a long-lasting mint flavor, freshens breath, and can help prevent cavities, and a refillable mouthwash that's good for you and the planet. Whoa! In addition to brush heads, Quip also delivers fresh floss, toothpaste, mouthwash, and gum refills every 3 months from $5. Shipping is free, so you can save money and skip the hustle and the bustle of in-store shopping. Just get your tooth stuff sent to your house where you brush your teeth, probably. Unless you're on the road, and then you've got this multi-use, must-use travel cover. Oh my God. Join over the 5 million mouths who use Quip and save hundreds compared to other Bluetooth brushes when you get a Quip Smart Brush for just $45. Whoa. You can start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today. Go to getquip.com/bombcast right now to save $10 on a Quip Smart Electric Toothbrush. That's $10 off a smart electric toothbrush at getquip.com/bombcast, spelled GETQUIP.com/bombcast. Quip, the good habits company.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what time it is.
Oh, yeah.
You know what time it is. You know what we got to do.
Oh, yeah.
Ben, do what we got to do.
Jan, do what we gotta do.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Voicemail dump trick. Voicemail dump trick. Voicemail dump trick. Voicemail dump trick.
Yeah.
Best one at the end.
Trick.
Do you need a specific license to drive that? Because it's like a 3-axle,
You
right?
must. You must.
It's got to be like a class or whatever the commercial.
Yeah. Ben,
There's a
can you
commercial
skip
license. Maybe there's a
C-class?
C-class.
I don't know. C for
I was-
commercial. That makes sense.
Class. I was surprised how long an RV you can rent on just a regular ass driver's license.
It's insane that they let you do that.
Yeah.
They should not.
That's nuts. You need
They don't
special
even-
training for that.
They don't even ask you
should.
if you've done that before at most places.
Yeah,
just
they
let
don't
you
want to know.
drive off the lot.
Just go and kill as many cyclists as you want, sir.
on it.
Don't mind if I do.
Ben, what is the voicemail dump truck phone number if people want to back it up?
That's right. If you want to ask a question, tell a fun story, if you're in line at the fast food and want to call us, 707-EXIT-FLU. We will never tell you what those numbers mean, and we never have. 707-EXIT-FLU. Bookmark it in your phone and say, like, call it like drunk dials. And then when you're drunk and you look at your phone, there's something called drunk dial, you'll be like, don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
But please call in. Please leave voicemails. I listen to almost every single one.
Repeatedly,
over and over
To go to
again.
sleep at night,
Voicemails that are just like this one.
Oh, you wanted... Okay.
I forgot about Wet Tricks. This is the Nintendo 64 B-list Defender calling again.
Sure.
People need to play Wet Tricks. That game slaps. I'd like to hear your favorite B-tier games that aren't the ones that I had mentioned for the N64. Play Wet Tricks. Thanks. Bye.
Wet tricks?
This caller... This caller had originally left a much longer voicemail kind of defending the roster of B games that we're going to get for the Nintendo 64 online service that we discussed last week. So I don't know. Anyone got some favorite B tier? I mean, I wouldn't call it B tier, but if they put Mystical Ninja on the N64 bundle, I'd be quite happy.
I mean, you got to love the glove, right? I mean, we got to put Glover on there.
That was my one answer.
Yeah.
If the glove don't fit, you must stick it on the store.
Yeah.
Johnny Cochran.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quote Johnny Cochran.
Blues Brothers 2000. You know, I think I always thought of Wetrix as a Dreamcast game. I think so, but yeah, I guess it is N64 also.
N64 is a big sort of gap for me. I didn't have one.
You're all right. You're all right.
I had a PlayStation, and that's yeah. So there you have it.
What is this game? I've never heard of Wetrix before.
I don't want to look at it. It sounds like something I'm going to be upset about.
It's a falling block game, like a Tetris, but not like a Tetris. It's like a 3D plane, and water falls in block shapes, and blocks also fall. So you're kind of like making different sized pools, and then water has to drop, and you have to make sure the water doesn't fall off the edges of the play field. So you have to make sure you're containing all that water. And if you make the sides too high, it causes an earthquake meter to build up, and when the earthquake meter builds up, you're fucked.
Oh, it's one of those games.
Complicated it's complicated in a way that makes it less fun than I think it could be.
I'm kind of like a physics, Mark, and I just
it's got some of that for sure, like some fluid dynamics from an era when you didn't see a lot of fluid dynamics.
I would like to throw Fighting Force into the mix.
I know that one.
The first one.
They dropped a few very generic beat 'em ups for the Super Nintendo that nobody heard of, so I think Fighting Force is right in that vertical.
Fighting Force, I remember getting this game for PlayStation and being like, I feel like this is the closest thing I'm going to get to another Final Fury.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Is that what I'm talking about? Final Fight.
So I feel like I bet if you go back and find my review of Fighting Force, it probably says something along the lines of this is like the last gasp of this genre of like them attempting to make a Final Fight style game in 3D, and like this is it, it's over, don't do it. Someone in chat says Blast Corps. That'd be that's a good game. You could do that on the online service. That'd be fun.
God, Fighting Force bringing me back here.
I love how you could just pick up a soda to regen your health, or just pick up like a gun and just blast.
Yeah, either or.
I want to add, if we're doing N64, like Tetrisphere, I think belongs on this list.
Ooh.
Tetrisphere is amazing.
And next Tetris was actually a really good Tetris, like just regular ass Tetris, but Tetrisphere was also pretty good. Yeah.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
All those sweet South Park games, we get all those on there.
Oh shit!
You want all the Turoks? What do we what do you want to do?
Were the Turoks good?
I don't want any of the Turoks.
At it in their day on that platform, they were pretty incredible. They reissued them. They did those new remakes or whatever for PC, or like remasters, whatever you want to call them. And I feel like that just shows you that like maybe you don't want to go back to Turok, but at the time, Turok was highly thought of in terms of N64 first-person shooters, kind of like just behind a GoldenEye and a Perfect Dark. You had those Turok games. What about Forsaken? That was a good Descent clone.
Mm-hmm.
Came out.
All I remember is advertising that lady with the face tattoo or whatever.
Face tattoo.
Oh shit!
Yeah, some people in chat. One Jeff Grubb saying Beetle Adventure Racing. That was people really liked Beetle Adventure Racing.
People did. That was weird, but yeah. That game seemed legit after somebody showed it to me.
Cruising USA, get all the cruising.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess that was the only cruising game that came out on N64. Maybe they didn't do Cruising World. Anyway, do that. Why not?
All right. Yeah. Let's play this next voicemail.
I'd like to get the burger from Wendy's. and the fries and the drink from McDonald's.
That's fucked up.
Okay.
Was that like a confessional?
Yeah.
Sure.
Seems as such. I get it. I get it.
Is that what this phone number is?
Yeah.
This phone number is a lot of things.
This phone number is whatever you want it to be.
Who picks the fries from McDonald's? That's a weird one to me.
Yeah, those are trash tier.
I like taking over
fries.
Wendy's. I think
They
Wendy's
used to
is in
be
the middle
good.
of a fries refresh because their fries are such shit now. So I get it.
My question is the fries and the Coke. Like he was very specific that he wants that.
Yeah, why the soda?
McDonald's soda.
Yeah, why does
I mean,
Coke
that's-
matter?
There is a difference in McDonald's Coke.
What?
I'm serious. This is a proven fact, Jeff Bacalar. This is a
Isn't
proven
it just
fact.
the mix? Isn't it that
It's
you
the
have
mix,
to add
but
a
it's
certain
a
amount of syrup?
It's a special McDonald's mix.
You think McDonald's has their own proprietary Coke mix?
They do, according to RD.com.
Yes, they actually, yeah. I feel like I read a story about this not that long ago that there was some deal with
Coca-Cola
Coke.
It's different.
is giving McDonald's. It hits different. My God.
It's crazy.
Could I go to like
They
a
have their
Coke freestyle
own-
machine and pick like I want the McDonald's Coke? Damn. Oh, that's the world I want to live in. Ben, sorry, cut you
What
off.
about all fast food is garbage? What about that?
Yeah,
And you
I
should
love
add
that
it.
idea.
Yeah, but like
It's true,
sometimes
but
garbage
I
is
love it.
good. Like what
No,
sometimes
here's
garbage
the
is great.
thing. I'm not above
Broad
any of that
strokes.
stuff. I love that shit. But give me like a diner burger and fries over any of that any day of the week.
All diner food is trash. I love
You're
going to the
crazy.
diner.
It's a different thing. It's a different want. It's like it's a different part of my
I
body
understand.
want. Like if I want a diner burger or like a fancy hamburger, which is rare, very rare that I'm in that mode. But it's a totally different thing from a fast food burger.
See, but if where I live, it's like it's just not. You go there, you will sit down. And I get it. Drive through, you can't.
drive-through,
You can't replace
yeah.
that, right? You can't
Especially
replace that.
these days.
But I could sit in a diner, sit down, get a menu, order food, and I will have it hot in front of me in 3 minutes. Like that is what goes down
It's also going to be two
at
times
East
the
Coast
price.
diners, and 4 times better.
I don't know how your diners are that fast, but I have not experienced
It's
that.
amazing. It's amazing.
That's crazy.
You mean, come on, you're on. Well, you're closer to diners than you've ever been, Jason.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And also,
Diners on the West Coast.
no place on earth would the Coca-Cola be fresher, I would think, than where you are now.
Exactly. Right from the
True,
spigot.
it's right from the source.
Right from the source.
It's in the pipes, isn't it?
Yep.
Didn't you get that
It is.
option when you moved in?
Yeah, I got the Coke dispenser. Right.
It's just well water. You just dig deep
Are there
enough
people on
and
the
you find it.
outskirts of
what comes out
town
of
like
it.
peddling Pepsi and they just get beat up all the time, like raided by the cops?
There's a big wall that they can't cross. Yeah.
All right.
We
I
keep
thought it'd
them
be
out.
like, when the cops do a big drug bust and they're like, we're destroying all these drugs for a photo op, but it's Pepsi instead.
Yep.
Someone brought this wild cherry Pepsi into Atlanta and now they're 6 feet underground.
It's
Here's
true.
the gun I found on him, I swear.
All right, let's. We got 2 more voicemails in the hopper here before we move on to some emails. Oh, this one didn't want to play. Oh, wait,
I heard it.
I heard it.
You tried.
it tried. Call it again.
Caller.
Hi, Bombcast. This is Colton, North Dakota, and I don't understand NFTs. Specifically, how is the Chadwick Boseman Oscar swag bag an NFT if they're supposed to be unique, but everyone got one? I'm just an electrician. I don't understand. Thank you.
Well, I mean,
so let's break it
Called the
down.
wrong show.
Okay, so as an electrician, you understand most of it. Is just like, imagine that you've built some kind of electrical thing that wastes as much power as possible, and a bunch of people convince each other that that's worth money, and because
If
they
we
keep
all
telling, they
believe-
keep hyping each other up, going like, "No, dude, this is it," and then the other guy goes back, to, "Fuck yeah, it is," and then eventually. Like it's like every fucking cocaine party conversation turned into like a bunch of fucking fake money on top of that, right? It's the JPEGs aren't the thing. It's like the same way like the dollar bill. It's not like you're like, this George Washington is sick. It's like the numbers, the idea that you own it is the thing, and the JPEG itself is largely incidental, though they use that to define an extra level of rarity with them. Yes, define their Twitter avatar and all of that other bullshit.
Just this morning, what is it, Evil Ape guy stole one of the NFT guys for Evil Ape, I think was the company, just disappeared with $3 million. He was just like, I'm out.
Cool.
Bye.
Yeah.
Anonymous, right?
Oh, weird.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I'm sure the Bozeman stuff, the Chadwick Boseman bags were like numbered or something. Because you can have, there are duplicates. They're just like, or not duplicates. Sorry, they're not duplicates.
A finite amount.
Same image, but the number is different on the back end or something. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, an NFT is just a thing on the blockchain that points to a URL, and there's not even a guarantee that the JPEG will be there forever. It's just the idea that you own a thing.
But if we all believe, it's like fairies. Yeah. You have to just believe for them to exist. If we stop believing they're worth anything, then the party ends, man. Don't do it.
No one wants the party to end. Just keep shouting to the moon into your social media platforms, and everything will be fine.
That's also how Kingdom Hearts is.
This is why I know about it.
Last voicemail. Oh my God! Wait. Now, last voicemail.
Hey, Bomb Crew. With the recent Mario Cast announcement, I was wondering what actors would you play you guys in the Giant Bomb movie. Personally, I'd love to see Morgan Freeman recite Dan Reichert's line. But what about the rest of the cast? Okay, thanks. Bye.
How are you going to fuck up Morgan Freeman like that?
Yeah, I really included this voicemail for that part where just trying to picture Morgan Freeman playing Dan Reichert and really having a good time with that.
He usually plays characters that are sort of like otherworldly and, intelligent.
I thought it'd be fun for this one if everyone picked somebody else, current or previous Giant Bomb associated, and just cast them. We just went around and everyone cast one person, and I want to kick it off with saying Daniel Day-Lewis as Brad Shoemaker.
Oh, that's good.
That's very good.
That's good.
I feel like I would probably put like a Edward Norton is in the Matt Rory section of
kind of that everyman, but like something else behind those eyes, And
I think Edward Norton is one of the best actors that has ever acted. So I think that
Warwick Davis as Danny O'Dwyer. I can't think of any other leprechauns.
I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it. Yeah.
That's the only leprechaun I really know.
He's the leprechaun.
Chris O'Dowd. You know who that is?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I get that.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
He does a TV show with kids called Puff and Rock. He does like the voiceover in it. And my daughter watches it.
Puffing Rock?
Yeah, it's about meth heads.
Okay.
My daughter can't get enough. Yeah, she's fucking mad for it.
She's chasing that dragon all day.
Yeah, he does this Puff and Rock thing. Yeah, sorry. So she watches this thing, but his accent's not that far from mine. So sometimes I just try and freak her out, and I'll stand in the room next to her and say, "This morning on Puff and Rock, blah blah blah," and she's like, "What the fuck?
Oh, what? He's here?
He's here? He's real?
Are they here? Can I get my snack?"
That's us with Mr. Rogers lately.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. She's gotten way into Mr. Rogers.
Dylan Sprouse, the guy that plays Jughead on Riverdale, to play Alex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm sorry, I'm taking two turns here. I want both Sprouse twins, when they were younger and on the Sweet Life, to sit on each other's shoulders and be Ben.
Damn.
I'm Zach and Cody?
You're living the Sweet Life, buddy.
Wow.
Great.
I want Abby Kate Blanchett.
Ooh, nice.
Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm. Yes, come on. That's
yeah.
The shoe-in.
Please make this fan poster out there. Listeners would love to see this.
Yeah.
Good work. Good work, everyone.
All right.
Someone said Ryan Reynolds as Drew Scanlon.
Not handsome enough.
Yeah, right.
No. Maybe Rygods as Drew. All right. Now it's time for some emails.
I forgot that wasn't
emails because I didn't choose them. That's how it works.
Okay, Mr. Bacalar, you got a hard out soon, so we're going to get to this first one real quick.
Okay.
I'm just going to get this prep to show the folks at home.
Show the folks at home. Show us.
In advance, I apologize. Also, if you are at work watching this, maybe to close the window for a second. Anyway,
maximize it.
Yeah.
What am I looking at here?
Aaron from Hobart. Hey, Bombers. I was browsing Facebook Marketplace for arcade cabinets and came across this crime against humanity. And I'm now flashing that on the screen.
I just scrolled down.
What's the worst bong you've ever seen? Thanks.
Wait
Aaron
a
from Hobart.
minute. Okay, I have so many questions.
I'm not seeing
Why is this
the question?
I'm not seeing it.
That looks pretty clear cut to me.
It's not on the screen.
Jan,
we're not seeing it here. Yeah.
Oh, y'all aren't seeing it. Okay, well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now everyone.
I don't understand how this came up during
an arcade cabinet search.
It's an arcade. Yeah, there you go. Pac-Man. Right there.
Oh my god, I just noticed the price.
It's a bong with a butt plug at the bottom?
No. It's a blue vase.
It's a blue vase.
Not a blue vase.
I guess it's a bong, but like, you know.
I feel like one thing a vase has to do is be able to stand under its own weight. I don't think this could. I think it needs an anus.
I think it needs a little more support.
Wait a minute. Now I'm actually visualizing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good for them.
See, I hadn't scrolled down far enough, and I'm like, it's just a bong. What the fuck? And then I scroll down some more, and there's something else.
Someone's getting fucked.
Yep.
That's definitely happening.
Two people, it turns out.
Yeah.
Unless they're particularly
one's
limber.
getting fucked up. Man.
It's in fair condition.
Fair. Oh no. Which end is in fair condition?
Yeah.
That is an important distinction.
I'm gonna put this away now.
I feel like there's just something about and maybe buying a used smoking apparatus is ridiculous as well, but I feel like used butt plugs is just not a.
It's a one owner thing.
Don't do that's unless you know. I mean, always know if you know who you're buying it from, then maybe that's a thing, right? But I feel like going on Craigslist and
you don't
buying
want to buy this
butt plug
used.
just seems like
God,
what are you gonna put that up in
Stainless steel.
Come on.
Throw some bleach and hot water in the top.
I guess you put enough bleach on anything, it's gonna be fine. But
I don't want to bleach up my butt.
Yeah, there was a certain cleaning process where there was a lot of bleach involved at a former job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you need to look camera ready. I mean, come on. Whomst among? I mean, we're on camera all the time. Whomst among us is not bleaching up?
Bleached a little bit, right?
Yeah. Come on, we're not above that. Yeah. Well, that was colorful.
I'm glad that we got you for that at least, Jeff. Thank you for seeing.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That is quite the visual.
Next email from Scott from Saginaw, Michigan. Dear Bombcast, I've been vacationing in San Francisco for a week now, and while I've seen my fair share of homeless people, I've not once seen poop of any kind on the sidewalk. I've been listening to this podcast for over a decade and have been led to believe that San Francisco is practically drowning in human fecal matter. My question is, where is the poo?
Downtown.
It normally is. It's not in season right now. Like COVID has hit everybody.
Yeah.
Pretty hard.
Yeah.
And the poopers especially.
Well, I imagine there's just fewer people in the city commuting in for work. I think the people that would poop on the street probably just have like a lot more options.
Yeah.
Wait. What if it was the people commuting in who were doing the pooping the entire time?
Or at least spreading it.
You're just
it's a long commute.
One time I got out of my car and ran into an alley and peed on a garbage can in the middle of traffic.
I peed on a church one time when I was in the middle of traffic.
There you go.
That explains your luck.
Yeah. There was nothing else around. Nothing. So I peed in a bush.
I have not. Yeah.
On
At
it?
a church.
Like, why did you have to pee on it? and not next to it?
There was probably some tinkle sprinkle that landed on the church. Like,
Got it.
I don't know,
Like a
hit the bush and then splattered onto the church. You know,
Got it. So
I
you
don't.
weren't-
I don't know.
looking
I
for a
wasn't
church to
directly
piss on.
pissing. Yeah.
This is literally a curb bit. When the pee splashes from the toilet onto the Jesus portrait.
Right.
He was watching Jason. He was behind Jason.
Yeah.
All right, we got a game related email now from Grant.
What?
Subject reading: Is Game Pass bad for developers? They write, "We now have a service where people are so happy with it they refuse to buy games anymore. However, developers under the service get such a small slice of the pie, it isn't sustainable for them in the long run. Then you have the problem that new expensive games won't be made because no one will buy them outside of Game Pass. Suddenly, we rely on major publishers and companies like Sony and Microsoft to buy all the developers up to subsidize it. Will independent developers be a thing of the past?"
I feel like there's a lot of assumptions in there about the cut from Game Pass. I mean, you've definitely seen some smaller studios say that Game Pass has been really good for them and that the increased discussion around their games because of Game Pass has led to them selling more copies on other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
I think the jury is still out on that overall because I think but I don't think it's necessarily what he's proposing. It's more like sometimes people play through games that they aren't necessarily sold on because it costs them a fair amount of money to buy, and they don't have access to another game to play. So they play through a thing and get their money's worth out of it one way or the other. And I think something about the idea of a lot of these games being just widely accessible to people is leading to a situation where you get a lot of people that are playing the first 20 minutes of something, and if it doesn't immediately grab them, they're like, screw it, I'm on to the next thing. And that player patience and game design may have to change in order to grab players directly right out of the gate. This is a problem that software pirates have been dealing with for generations, in a sense of like, if you would hear all sorts of stories, or at least, like people I would encounter that, were pirating games nonstop for years, were always like, oh yeah, I got all of them. I was like, oh, which ones do you like? I don't even play them anymore. I'm like, well, why are you devoting all these floppy disks to all these Amiga games if you're not even touching them? But, it was just like the idea that they needed to have them, but they just didn't. They would play the first 5 minutes of everything and be like, oh, all these games are shit. And it was just always a weird thing. And I wonder if we'll see a difference in perception of the value of games from a time perspective as a result of more and more people having access to games for $0 additional dollars. I don't think that's like a major problem. I just think it'll be like an interesting side effect of Game Pass and all this other stuff, and that may have this knock-on effect on how games are designed. Like, especially if you're a smaller studio that's like you're counting on Game Pass, you're thinking Game Pass is going to be your way into the larger discussion, and you're doing that deal to launch on Game Pass. Like, will you then make a game that grabs people right out of the gate because your deal is such that you're getting paid based on engagement and all this other stuff? Like, there will be some effect on game development and the game business, but I don't think it's quite the same as just like, oh, they're going to all get bought up because the perception of this is changing. Like, that perception has already changed because of Fortnite and other free-to-play games. Like, think about that. Like, the very idea that like now your game has to compete with a billion free games that are getting updated all the, like Halo is going to come out and the multiplayer is about to be free. Like, that's a huge, crazy deal for a franchise as long running as Halo. But then you've also got Fortnite, Apex, like all these other multiplayer games that can grab players' attention for thousands of hours. Like, how do you compete with that for people's time, let alone money for cosmetics or all this other stuff? Like, it's a very different business now than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think the Game Pass game is almost the antithesis of the live services game, which I think is interesting because we've actually seen a lot of them coalesce there. I think you can end up making shorter games that people complete, especially as smaller teams. And I think it's also a really good way to establish an IP. Like if you had like a young studio first out the gate with something and they have something on Game Pass, it gets a lot more eyes. And then second time around, or they have a different version of it. This whole economy we're in now with games where there are multiple beats for every game. There's like an early access stint, a beta stint, a Game Pass stint, a full release. Like I think Jeff's right. Like I think Game Pass has like shook everything so much, and now I think in the past year or two, a lot of learnings have come out of that. And I think in the next year or two, we're going to see a lot of games sort of work within the Game Pass ecosystem in a way that makes more sense for them, and hopefully also Microsoft or Sony, because nobody wants this to end. I don't think. I think it works for everyone at the moment. So they're all going to be very cautious not to sort of have the Atari thing happen, basically, right? Where suddenly it's just flooded full of games that nobody wants to play more than 50 minutes of.
Yeah. All right. We kind of talked about this during the break. And the first question is a little bit of a contentious topic around GBHQ lately. John writes, seriously, this is the third iteration of Coke Zero in what, 5 years? What was so bad about the other two that they felt the need to make a third version of it? Also, dads of the Bombcast, what age would be appropriate to introduce a child to games? I currently have a 5-year-old and she plays simple tablet games, but I worry that her limited attention span will be seriously hindered by introducing console gaming. I don't even have the console on when she's awake. Thoughts?
The new Coke Zero sucks.
It's garbo.
It's bad.
I haven't had it.
That's
yet.
what I think.
It's like they found a way to make a carbonated drink taste like a flat drink. It's really weird.
Seriously, yeah. I heard you guys talking about it, and I normally get like vanilla Coke Zero and cherry Coke Zero, and there's still that around, but it's the old formula. Anyway, that shit ran out, and I had to get the new Coke Zero, and it's bad.
You get it first,
bummer.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. Like even coming out of the tap is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, even in like the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Can't you just tell someone there?
You would think.
Yeah. Just open up your window and yell out of there, the Coke Zero is bad. Whatever. They'll run him out of town on a rail if he's.
Yeah. Everyone in the neighborhood will be like, yeah, he's right.
No, they don't fuck around down here. I'll get outed.
So I didn't even know they did 3 versions of it. I can
second one.
Yeah.
In my head, I can think back to what it tastes like. I've had it before, and I remember it being fine. What they went crazy.
The idea, or at least their pitch for it, is now it tastes more like regular Coke, and I don't think I agree with that.
That's the dream, right? That's the dream.
No.
I don't think it is. I mean, I don't want that. Like, if I think regular Coke has a thickness and a syrupiness to it. Yeah, that like it feels like it is like melting my teeth out of my fucking body when I drink it. And I don't want it. I rarely drink it.
Because it is.
Oh yeah. But like Pepsi, regular Pepsi does not have that same property, that same thickness.
But it's fucking gross.
Pepsi, you're Jason.
I don't want to hear.
Yeah. That's. I know you just have to do that to put on appearances. I know you're a Pepsi guy all the way down. Everyone knows. Yeah. So, but like,
did they change
Coke
all
in particular just has a thickness into it that is like, sometimes I really want it. There's something about, I don't know if it's because they use real sugar or whatever, if it's like a Mexican Coke type situation, but like I hadn't drank a regular Coke in probably like 15 years. And then I drank one in Japan, and there was a crisp, like a sharp, a bite to it that I don't think like regular Coke here in the U.S. Coke has. Yeah. Right? Actually, you know what? Maybe it is like sort of like a McDonald's Coke. I should try that out. But there was a while there that I was only drinking regular Coke in Japan, which is a fucking insane thing to say. But
that is
I've had some here, and it's just like blah.
I remember taking a sip of Coke off. Like we were out to dinner one time, and my wife was like, "I'm having a Coke. I don't know what it is. We don't drink soda. We haven't had it in over a decade." She's like, "I'm getting a Coke. I want to see what that's like." I was like, "All right." I took a sip of that, and wild. It felt it was like I did some hardcore drug, right? Like it felt insane. It like ran through my body, and it had a bite.
Wow.
It was like it hurt. It actually hurt a little bit. I was like, wow, is this what it's like when you smoke a cigarette the first time? Like, it was crazy. And I used to drink it all the time. I used to love soda, man. Hell yeah.
Well, the second question to the daddies in the room.
I'm not there yet. My kid's only 3, so
yeah, I think it's going to depend on an individual kid and how advanced they get in certain ways at certain times and stuff. And
Griffin was playing stuff at 3, but like he was just barely getting into it. What really helped him along, I think, as to getting like comfortable with like a controller is there was a Paw Patrol game, and they were very visually, like, you know, they'd hold your hand, you know, as to which button to press, how to press it and stuff, and like jump here and do this and that.
Right.
And it really got him acclimated with like a controller, and now he feels super comfortable with it. So now he's like beating like Mario Odyssey and shit, and he's playing stuff all over the place. Wow. I mean, he beat it on, you know, the easy mode, like the handheld mode, but still, like he was
really beat it then.
Beat it,
but he was like 4 when he did that. You know?
That's crazy.
And yeah, he's just all over the stuff, playing stuff now. Yeah, he loves 3D platformers. I don't think that like he's like hooked on it, or like I haven't had much of an issue with like him choosing video games over like, you know, drawing or anything like that. You know, he's divvied up his time, you know, effectively. And I don't know, he's being responsible about it, I think. But
there we go.
Yeah, like, you know, I think, but yeah, it's going to differ from kid to kid for sure. I'm just lucky, I guess.
I got my Super Nintendo on my 4th birthday. I remember really wanting the Power Rangers game, and you know,
the fighting game,
no, the platformer.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't remember that. The fighting game's good though.
The fighting game is good.
Fucking A.
And it was very much of like a thing of like I would mess around, and then I would get to something that was too hard and pass the controller to my parents. And I think like used right, it could be definitely a bonding thing. You know, it's like you don't want to like bean dad your kid and make them play video games or make them play a certain way. You just want to like help them feel it out and see if it's something that they're into, and you can get into it together. I think it can really start at any age.
Unless they're playing inverted, and then you got to step in and be like, no, we don't do that.
Not in this.
There's like an electrode thing.
Not in
No
this
child
house.
of mine.
You got to write that wrong.
All right, we got
the first time.
go ahead.
I think the first game my kid finished was Donut County.
Nice.
And that because the game's it was just the perfect on ramp for him.
No button.
He
You just move, right? You just move.
that's it. And he's still like, he's 6 now, and he still like cradles, like he holds the joystick like this still, like almost like you know, he's not doing just thumbs. He's sort of like holding it with his index finger and thumb. But yeah, I think that game was the perfect sort of like, this is very easy and you don't need to do much. And once it clicked, it was like, oh, this has to be, you know, this is it. But yeah.
All right. What's the time looking at? We got time for 1-2 more?
Maybe one more.
I got like
one more.
I got 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this is a weird one. Hey, bombers. This is open to all of you, but mostly Bacalar. I don't know why it is, though. My wife will sometimes make a big batch of food, like a chili or a stew. This is a great option for keeping the food budget down. Sometimes, though, it's too much, and it goes bad and moldy before we can eat everything. When throwing it away, I find it best to flush it down the toilet. So my question is, do you think the toilet can tell the difference between chili and what normally goes in? Sincerely, Zilter from Norway. P.S. I sometimes flush a tea bag as a treat to the rats in the sewers.
This guy.
This is one of the most deranged emails I've ever heard on this show.
This guy's a kook.
This is like
I think he said mostly me because we did an episode of the Very Online Show where like
the food in the toilet.
The food in the toilet, yeah, where there was this, like TikTok trend of people doing weird shit like that.
Oh right, yes, okay, yeah, I did see some of those.
The magicians,
right? The best part, the fucking budget magicians. The best wording of this email is like, can the toilet tell the difference? As if the toilet is just like, well, this isn't shit. I can't. I don't know. It's
gonna go down a different tube. Yeah,
I don't know what to do with this.
And I'm pretty happy about it. Like,
this tastes great.
A happy toilet is
your use of cumin in here is inspiring.
Where can I get some of this? That's awesome.
Putting the lid down and just keeps opening back up more.
I like their bit that the tea bag is a special treat for the sewer rats.
Yeah, truly the cherry on the sundae here.
Well, I mean, there's no better treat than putting an entire cake down the toilet. That's
that's just it's
that won't clog any pipes.
It's, yeah, it definitely clogs the toilet.
It's just a sexy thing someone can do. Like
it leads
straight
to janitorial department putting a sign above the toilet saying "Don't put weird stuff in the toilet," and then you have to pretend it wasn't you, even though you filmed it.
We know it was you, Jerry. You put the fucking cake in the
fucking
toilet.
Videos on giantbomb.com. You're gonna see who the fuck could have done this.
It's Apple's toilet now.
Yeah, it is. That's say that's Steve Jobs' problem now, but I guess maybe not.
That's dark.
I was going to say, like, I guess it's not that different from like pouring it down your sink with a garbage disposal or whatever, right? I mean, it's ending up in the same place. Like,
well, the garbage disposal chops it all up,
right?
Makes it easier going down. But if it's chili, it's not going to be too.
Yeah, chili is not like a brick, but it's hot lunch, man. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
it's hot lunch.
Cool it down.
All right, well, that's the emails, the voicemails we've got this week. You can send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. And Ben, what's the phone number for the dump truck again?
707 exit flu. Seriously, call in with anything, but preferably make them short, 15, 20 seconds.
All right.
Fantastic work, everyone. Well done. What do we got cooking the rest of the week here? I think we got like a premiere of something, Jan, right?
Yes. Yes. Something that has been in the works for a very long time. So long, in fact, it's when Jeff still lives somewhere else. Ranking of Evil with Evil Uno. I don't want to spoil the bag, but he's a very polite gentleman. Dropping tomorrow, let's say 10 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time.
Rock and roll.
Awesome. Beautiful. And that'll be a freebie. And for moving forward for Ranking of Fighters, it'll all be free. Ranking of Evil will be free.
Yeah, Ranking of Fighters was always free.
Yep.
Continuing down that legacy.
That list is free.
Yeah, the list is free.
God damn it.
Damn. Oh, I need that list. By the way,
not giving me a lab coat.
Ben, do you have the updated version of the list? Do you have the updated version of the list? Did you keep that list up to date?
Maybe.
Remember when it was your job to keep that list up to date?
Not encouraging.
Yeah.
Remember when it hinged on whether or not you'd get a lab coat?
Yeah. Ben, bring that list to next week's episode of the Giant Bombcast. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is great. Hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see you when we see you, and have a great rest of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.